Welcome in. You know, some people asked me this morning, they said, Bill, are you going to be as fired up on a Tuesday as you were yesterday when you came on the air? Because the Brewers lost. Packers didn't play last night. Brewers lost 5-0, you know. And then I kind of thought about the city of Chicago. Cubs, they lose again. So even when they have some opportunities to win and maybe gain a little ground, they don't. And then the Bears. Holy moly. The Bears and that collapse last night. Oh, my goodness. I'll tell you this now, and again, it's way too early in the season to make giant swaying, put a stamp on it opinions. But Caleb Williams, now it's his third coach in a year and a game. So you got to cut him some slack. But he reverted back to a lot of stuff in the second half of that game that was not good. He was outplayed by J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, he stood tall. He was steady. Do I think his talent level is Caleb Williams level? No. What makes a quarterback in the National Football League, let me say this. What makes a quarterback in the National Football League, for the most part, you got to have talent, okay? We all know that. You got to be able to throw the football and do certain things with it. But it's what's between your ears and what you're made up of inside. And granted, he's got a terrific play caller in Kevin O'Connell. And they have got a terrific defensive coordinator, and their defense is incredibly solid. But he just stayed the course. He just stayed the course. He didn't panic. He didn't freak. He was getting his brains beat out early. None of that went on. And he seemed to play more mature than Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams, he's got a talented arm. And he's got all the physical gifts. But he just at times just misses, just doesn't see it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Brian Flores had him confused maybe. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it. But I watched Caleb Williams last night, and I thought to myself, and this is granted, this is a, out of the mantra of the Bears still suck. This, because there's a lot of hype for Ben Johnson, and I think he's a talented coach. But I looked at this last night, and I thought, that's not the guy either. I thought Jaden Daniels was the guy. And Jaden Daniels is uber talented. And I watched Caleb Williams now for a year and a game, and I went, I don't think that's the guy. And then, by the way, last night, the fans weren't really booing the entire Bears organization. They were booing Caleb Williams. They were booing that effort down the stretch because the defense just, they couldn't stop him anymore. And the offense wasn't helping them out. Remember, the defense scored a touchdown in that game. That offense stunk. They were booing Caleb Williams in that offense as they left that, craptastic Soldier Field last night. Ben Johnson's first game was leaving the field into a shower of boos, and it wasn't at the head coach. It was at Caleb Williams in that offense. So to say that I woke up today excited for the show would be an understatement because I love doing the show. But to say that I wouldn't be as amped up today as I was yesterday, wrong. Because I loved watching that game last night. You know what I did last night? I sat down, ordered a pizza. I haven't done that in forever. Ate about 3 slices and then thought, I hate myself for doing this. But ate about 3 slices, put the rest of it away, sat back, feet up on the coffee table, had the TV on, phone in hand, scrolling, tweeting a little bit, whatever, just relaxing and watching that game unfold. And then as the boos rained down, as they showered down from that historic field that is now a cruise ship parked in front of the Parthenon with that massive dock of rich boats and such floating behind it out there in Lake Michigan. And the sun had set to the west of that stadium. And the Bears fans had started to stream out going, I can't believe we lost this game after being in such command, taking the ball down, scoring right away, getting a defensive pick six, all of that going in our favor just to watch it slip away. And I turned my TV off, and my TV doesn't just go black, okay? My TV does one of those things where it goes, bloop, and, it's black on the bottom, and it just meets in the middle, and then the thing goes off, and then it just kind of goes away. And I watched that, and it went bloop, and it was gone. And I just smiled to myself, and I went on up to bed. And I thought, yeah, life is good. Now, did I want to see the Vikings win? No. You had to pick your poison there. But I got to admit, I took a lot of joy in the Bears fans' pain. I really did. I have to admit that. So that was my night last night. There you have it. You want to chime in? We got a lot of good stuff today. And behind the scenes, Tyler Dunn from Go Long TD. If you haven't read the article, if you don't subscribe, go to golongtd.com, and read the article about the Bears. We're going to talk to Tyler Dunn, the author of the article, coming up here in a little bit about all of this down in Chicago. He wrote kind of an expose as to what went on behind the scenes last year in Chicago. So we're going to get into that. The Brewers got beat last night. They got beat up offensively. They didn't do anything. So it doesn't matter if you give up 5 or 10 runs or 22 runs when you don't score anything. So they took a loss down in Texas, but they hold the 7.5 game lead over the Cubs still. Big week for the Badgers. I wanted to talk about optimism coming into the weekend down in Tuscaloosa against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Want to get into that a little bit. So we got all of that upcoming. So Brewers, Packers, inside the locker room. We got our buddy Chuck Freimund here. All that good stuff. Hit us up. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. That's the phone number to get a hold of us. Then you want to text us. You can text us. Pull out your phone, text a little bit. Don't do it when you're driving. There you go. You text us 608-321-1670, 608-321-1670. You can track us down on YouTube, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show, youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. You can find us there. You can find us on the Twitter app, X, better known, under Bill, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. You can find Grant at Wisco Grant, WISCO at Wisco Grant. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok under The Bill Michaels Show, THE, The Bill Michaels Show. We are on the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. You can find us by emailing the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, simply thebillmichaels.com. The app to listen to us anywhere and everywhere from our mighty flagship station, WOZN, the zone out in Madison, is Wisco Sports Zone. Wisco Sports Zone. And then you can also find us after the fact on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And we are a television show Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time, My24 TV in Milwaukee. It's all that simple. There you go. Grant Bills, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. This Tyler Dunn appearance coming up in a half hour is perfectly timed after what we watched last night. I was going to be happy watching either team lose, and I was going to be a little annoyed watching either team win. That was always going to be, how last night went. But I think Bears fans, I was listening to a little bit of 670 Score this morning and reading Twitter last night, how are Bears fans mad at anyone other than Caleb Williams?
Right.
They have tailored that whole thing for him. They brought in the smartest offensive mind who was available for him, and the dude couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last night. And he looks pissy and whiny.
Yep.
Bears fans, that's where all of your attention should be directed today.
The traits that were the negatives on him coming out of USC that people questioned have at times shown through in his tenure as a Bears quarterback. And we saw it again last night. We saw leadership on one side, and we saw kind of the petulance at times on the other. Now, again, Caleb Williams, uber talented. But what makes a good quarterback, a bad quarterback, a great quarterback is what's between the ears and the character you have from intestinal fortitude. And all the things he did at USC were all the things he's doing on the field right now. That's what made him good against lesser opponents. You can't get away with that in the National Football League. You can't do that because everybody's really good. So, being able to scramble and run around and, and score is great, But you have to be a quarterback in the National Football League. And he just missed. He missed 44% of his passes on bad errant throws. And I saw that this morning watching the 4-Letter Network because I was getting my oil changed and they had it on. 44% of his throws in a negative light in the second half of that ball game. He was, I think, 28% of negative throws, off-target throws that could have been caught. He was just so bad. He was the worst rated quarterback in errant throws of the entire weekend. So I kind of, part of me smiles because I'm not a Bears fan, but the other part of me is like, how wrong can you, and again, he still has a couple of years this year and next year left to really kind of prove himself. And he could end up turning it all around and Ben Johnson could be the quarterback whisperer. But if they miss on him, what do you do in this long string of quarterback failures? Missing on Patrick Mahomes, missing on Jaden Daniels, missing on these guys when they're there. You just thought you were the smartest guy in the room and went in a different direction. I just kind of smile at the ineptitude, at the ineptitude of the Bears. So.
And Bears fans, again, I don't think this is anything that the Bears have done improperly. They could have, and Tyler will talk about this, they could have brought in more quarterbacks, and they could have also gotten together with Jaden Daniels, sure. I don't think many people faulted him at the time for taking Caleb, and I don't think anybody could fault them for the last 2 years, the decisions they made leading to now, who they've hired and who they brought in, and they beefed up the O-line, and Caleb Williams looks like he's out there he doesn't look like he's working hard. He doesn't look like he's that bought in. That's where all of their complaints should be directed, in my opinion.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound really arrogant. Not that I don't sound arrogant a lot, but I'm going to say something that's really arrogant. When Patrick Mahomes was sitting there, a lot of people thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be a really good quarterback. The trade for Mitch Trubisky, I said right then and there, was one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen, and it panned out to be that. Coming into the draft last year, I was screaming, Jaden Daniels is the better quarterback. When you see signs of character and maturity, inability in a quarterback, and then you go to the tape, and the tape doesn't lie. Every coach, every scout, every player will tell you the tape does not lie. When you see misses, when you see problem things, and you ignore it and take it anyway, thinking we can work with this, you better be really, really secure and feeling that you have enough people around to be able to make things better. Because at that point, that's stuff that's ingrained in a quarterback, and it's hard to get out of those habits. Now, Ben Johnson may be that guy. And again, I give Caleb Williams all the credit in the world for being talented, and he's had his third coach now and third play caller or fourth play caller in a year in a game. So I give him time. But I never thought he would be the guy. Never thought he would be the guy. I thought he was really good, not great, not what the Bears needed. And I kept saying, Jaden Daniels is going to be the better quarterback. Jaden Daniels is going to be the better quarterback. And people thought I was nuts. And so we'll wait and see, because you still got 2 years to really kind of make that point. But the early results, there's not many things I do in this world that make me look smart. Really, a lot of times I'm cranius rectus invertus, man. Head stuck right in my old rectum. But this one, I'll take this one and die on my cross for that one.
You gotta take victory laps when you can. Yeah, because we're wrong.
They're so few and far between.
Well, that's the thing. You talk for hours and hours and hours every single day. You're gonna get a lot of stuff wrong. So when you get one right, you gotta puff your chest out a little bit.
Right. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Do it. We'd love to hear from you. 608-321-1670. You can find us there as well. We are off to a fast start today. Tyler Dunn wrote a paper. Have you read it yet, Grant?
Yeah.
Have you read it? What did you make of it? Let me ask you that.
I make of it what I think I saw with my eyes last night, and that's Caleb Williams is about what Caleb Williams is about, and he doesn't really care and doesn't want to hear what coaches have to say or what his bosses, the GM, have to say. He's not interested in doing it anybody else's way other than his own way. And we've seen quarterbacks, I think you could say the same with Rodgers. He had the way that he wanted to do it, but Rodgers worked his ass off and had a chip on his shoulder. Yes. And Caleb Williams since he's been 19, he's had everyone telling him, you're the greatest thing in the world. Come to our program. We'll line it all up for you. Come to our team. We'll line it all up for you. And he's never really had to I don't know. He's never really had to work, at least not the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. It's you're gonna hear from the man himself that wrote it, Tyler Dunn, but basically saying that Caleb Williams is, at least to this point, has been almost uncoachable. Is that a very succinct way of putting it?
Yes, because there are examples in the story of when coaches have literally tried to coach him, and while they're talking to him, he's turned around and walked away. So when you say uncoachable, like in the literal sense, he refuses to take coaching.
Right.
Yes.
He is uncoachable. And it's a very daunting expose on things going on down in Chicago. And if you're a Packers fan and you want to smile this morning, maybe you got your coffee, you're already ate, and you're on your job, you're out delivering, or you're working construction, or you're in an office, so whatever it is, and you're not a big fan of the Bears, you want to come here in about 15 minutes and just you kind of enjoy yourself. I guess the best way to put it. Just enjoy yourself. So there you go. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends at Pella Windows and Doors in Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com. 0% financing. Who doesn't love 0%, right? Whether you're going to, I know I do, saves me money, right? And you can get something on the payment plan, and you can get something that's going to be good, something that's going to be economical for your home, especially right now, because we know it's going to start warming up this weekend. We got September back. So I love that. I'm all for it, man. By the weekend, bang, nice, loving it. But we know we're not far away from October. And all you got to do is walk through the stores. I mean, there's stores already that have Christmas crap out. We're not far away from the cold winds. And once they start blowing, you don't want to be scrambling at that point. That's when you call Pella now. You get the free in-home consultation. You call them up, you go, hey, I got a couple windows here. Don't know if they're any good. Can you come over and take a look at them? And they're going to say, okay, what's your budget? Okay, let's go with this line. This will fit your budget. Or maybe you just want to say, I want to make everything great again. Boom, there you go. You're walking around with brand new windows and doors. Your home's economical, curb appeal, value's been added to your home if you decide to sell it, all that kind of good stuff. Go to PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. 2 big reasons I bought. 1, the great room was always cold in the wintertime. It never got above 65 degrees. It just never did. It was always cold down there unless I built a fire. Okay? So, and I had to put a stick in the door, and that door never locked. Always just relied upon a stick, right? Now, lock the door, put the toe kick in, the toe kick pin goes down, that door's not moving anywhere. Ain't going anywhere unless somebody drives through it. Plus that room, boom, 69, 70 degrees all the time, depending on where I set it. It's perfect, and it saves me money. PellaWindowsandDoors.com. Go to PellaWI.com, PellaWI.com, or call them 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply as 9/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I don't know with Caleb Williams. The offensive line for the Bears, it's a perpetual problem. They spent a lot of money to upgrade the interior O-line. But again, Brian Flores, he's a handful to deal with. And the Vikings have better players. But I don't know. Caleb Williams has an incredibly high ceiling. He has a ton of horsepower. The arm, the movement is, he's got a power arm. That completion on the first drive to Roma Dunze on the sideline was gas. It was heat. And he made a couple big throws to DJ Moore. He's got a fastball, but a lot of times he's missing the strike zone.
Welcome in, Colin Cowherd. He's right. Caleb Williams has a fastball. Caleb Williams has talent. He's just, I don't know how to put it. At times, seems to have the 10-cent head. And it's not saying he's stupid. It's just maybe it's his own arrogance. I don't know. The Social House, boy, they had a great event. They had a bags tournament and a Packer watch party going on all at the same time this past weekend on Sunday. I saw they had just a spectacular crowd. This weekend, or this Thursday night, they're going to have the doors open, I would assume, because it's going to be pretty good weather and starlight weather. So head on over there. You can catch the game. But also this coming weekend, they're going to have a big doing for the Badger game, too. Badgers playing down in Tuscaloosa. So they got a lot of good stuff going on, not to mention the food's great and the people over there are just wonderful. It's a fantastic place to go, and they continue to expand. As a matter of fact, they keep expanding because they're running out of room. All these people keep coming there because it's such a great place, and they need more and more rooms. So they look for bigger and better things out of the Social House. But heck yeah, the food is fantastic. Stop over there, West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls. Dan and his staff do a great job. That is the Social House, Haus, right there on West Lisbon Road, Menominee Falls, Brookfield. My buddy Todd, who Todd was one of my producers way back when, the Llama. He said, and he's a longtime Bears fan. He said, I think my fellow Bears fans were not solely booing Caleb Williams. The boo was seeing these same old crappy Bears. So it's just a boo to boo is what he's saying. We were just booing to boo because it's the same old crappy Bears. Just when they build you up and you have hope and you start thinking about what could be, and this is going to be our year and the stamp of success, and we've got this lead and we're dominating and this is great. And Caleb Williams is running the ball and the defense is picking off, J.J. McCarthy and taking it to the house for 6. And Ben Johnson is going to be able to outduel the master that is the quarterback whisperer on his side of the field, and Connell. And next thing you know, they snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory, and same old Bears. So I got to admit, I know people on the western portion of the state of Wisconsin were rooting against the Vikings. It wasn't that I was rooting for the Vikings, because that's not it. But I found myself rooting more against the Bears for two reasons. One is it's the Bears. Okay. Second thing is, I keep thinking in the back of my head when Ben Johnson said, yeah, it was fun beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
What a douche. Yeah.
And
same.
I'm smiling. I thought about that, Grant, when I was watching the Packers play the Lions on Sunday. I thought about that. I thought there's probably a few games specifically that Matt LaFleur has circled. Beating the Lions at home, getting off to a fast start and such. That's one of them. There's no doubt about it. But the Bears, I gotta figure Bears Week is going to take on a whole new meaning for the coaching staff because of what Ben Johnson said down there when he had his opening press conference and saying that about Matt LaFleur. I got to think that they are going to be salivating to come out of the doors down at Soldier Field and at Lambeau Field. I got to think that he lit that fuse all over again when he said that.
Probably won't say anything publicly, LaFleur, but behind closed doors.
Oh, God,
yeah. I think the Packers, I hope the Packers feel like they need to be on a revenge tour against the division this year. Yes. I hope that week one was a sign of things to come, that they're pissed off about how last year went, is my hope, regardless of what Ben Johnson said. Like, they should already be feeling that way. The comments in the offseason from Ben Johnson just be extra fuel on the fire.
Right. Because, you don't get the Bears until the end of the season. You get them twice, the end of November and beginning of December. I mean,
isn't it 2 times in 3 weeks?
Yeah, twice in 3 weeks. So you don't get them till the end of the season, and a lot can happen between now and then. But I got to think there's a highlighter in Matt LaFleur's office or something where it's got the schedule up, and there's got to be like a bright yellow line across that game to say, remember this. And somewhere he's probably got a quote taped to something inside a locker, on a wall, that he's going to look at every day. And I got to think he's been thinking about that. So, but heck yeah, I thought that was funny from my buddy Todd. He's like, yeah, we're just booing the same old crappy Bears.
Well, and I'm down. Booing to boo is fine. I'm fine with that. Just because you're mad, that's your right as a fan. I just thought Caleb Williams had time last night. He didn't have 10 seconds on every play, but I don't think he was getting overwhelmed. He had guys open. He missed a lot of them. And then some plays he had guys open. He didn't throw the ball. And then he just starts running around. And on that first drive, he's rolling to his right and he threw that awesome ball to joins.A. It's like, wow, there's a lot of arm talent there. But this goes back to when the offense would get weird with Rodgers. If you're relying on your quarterback to make that play every single play, your offense is never going to get anywhere, right? You sprinkle in a special play like that every once in a while, but nothing consistent, nothing reliable. And again, I think it's Caleb Williams, man. I don't think you can look at Ben Johnson and say, well, why didn't you fix it in 1 week? Like, Caleb was supposed to come out and look like he had taken real steps this offseason, and it looked like the opposite.
Boy, we got a ton of text messages already. I want to get to them. I'll start going through them. But Howdy Bill and Grant says, since the crew pretty much have the division wrapped up, if you were Murph, would you load manage the rest of the pitching staff and the starters, or risk missing the number 1 seed and wearing out the key players, trying to get to the top seed, Shaq and Madtown? No, you keep playing to win. You keep everybody in the routine. Because if you, and I'm not a big believer in, look, if a guy needs rest, you rest him, okay? But I'm not a big believer in kind of, quote, taking your foot off the gas, because you haven't crossed any finish lines yet. I get what you would be doing it for. Players are creatures of habit. You do what you do. If a guy gets tired and he looks tired, maybe you rest him one or two here or there. Maybe a little bit more. You got 17 games left to play, and you're 7.5 games up. Yeah, maybe you do that. But I'm not a big fan of that. If a starter, instead of going 7 or 8, I mean, if you need to, rest your bullpen, you got the starters to go. If you need to rest your starters, then you get your bullpen a little bit more involved. But the bullpen's been what's burned up. That's the thing that I would probably try to take care of the most. But players, everyday guys, they want to go. They're creatures of habit. So and plus that number 1 seed, you'll get rest. You'll get a week of rest just to do nothing. You just, play bunt and pepper at the ballpark for a few days. I mean, you get that rest at the end of the season. So yeah, I'm a big fan of not resting guys and playing for everything. All right, let's do this. Up next, whether you're a Bears fan or a Packers fan or a Vikings fan, I don't care. You're going to want to hear this. He was uncoachable. And I'm not using that word as a quote from Tyler Dunn, but basically, if you read the article, you're going to understand what I'm going to say. From golongtd.com, Tyler Dunn is going to join us next and tell us a lot about what went on behind the scenes down in Chicago. More after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Truck drivers and owner-operators, there's never been a better time to team up at Schneider. We have more team-friendly loads than ever, including express delivery parcel freight that offers great miles with no delays to keep the wheels turning. Plus, for a limited time, company team drivers may be eligible for a sign-on bonus of up to $16,000. Owner-operator teams may qualify for a $10,000 incentive. Explore team driver positions at SchneiderJobs.com and search team contracting jobs at SchneiderOwneroperators.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hello, everybody.
Caleb, it seems that towards the end of the game, a few of your passes started to get away from you. Can you pinpoint the reason for that happening?
I think that just happens sometimes in games and in moments. Just got to reel it back in and go out there and execute. I think we did that on that last drive, or second to last drive that we had. Being able to reel it back in and go out there and complete the ball.
What kind of
Welcome back. It's that simple. It's that simple. Caleb Williams after the game last night. Welcome back to the program. This portion of it brought to you by J&L Tire and Service Center, saying thank you for voting them the best tire dealer out there. And they right there in Johnson Creek, just north of 94. You can see their sign from 94. You can see it just north. And they have the facilities for 18-wheelers. They have the facilities for the the grocery getters, whatever you want to call it, the soccer mom cars, or just dads heading back and forth to whatever. I mean, they've got everything, whether it's major engine repair, an oil change, tires, you name it. Plus their second location right there on Boulder Road in Watertown, Wisconsin. You can check them out again, jnltire.com. That is jnltire.com, jnltire.com. We are efforting our guy Tyler Dunn, who wrote the column in golongtd.com, where you can basically read about Caleb Williams. And again, I don't want to sit here and say that. I guess the term that I would use after reading that was basically he's uncoachable. There's some issues there. And to talk more about it, we now got him on the line. Tyler Dunn from golongtd.com spent some time down in Chicago, a little bit behind the scenes stuff on Caleb Williams and company. Tyler, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Bill. How have you been? Thanks for having me.
Well, you bet. We're doing good. I mean, the Packers won, and they, avenged two losses from last year. You got the Brewers 7.5 games up in the division. Badgers trying to get a win down in Tuscaloosa, but more so than anything, and the Bears, again, choke away, victory to the jaws of defeat. And we watched Caleb Williams just do a lot of the same things he did last year, for lack of a better term. So you tell me, you spent time down in Chicago. What'd you walk away thinking?
Right. I mean, I think that, there's a lot of talent to Caleb Williams. There's improvisation and creativity and everything that we saw at USC when he's winning the Heisman. I don't think any of that can be denied. And if I'm being fully transparent, when I started reporting on this 3-part series we've got up live at golongtd.com and reaching out to coaches and scouts and players, I'm thinking this is like celebration that, wow, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together, look out. I mean, at one point I talked to his private quarterbacks coach. He's like, this is a perfect storm. And then you learn more and more and more, and you really kind of dig into how things fell apart last season. There was such a narrative that was kind of sped to 100 miles an hour, fed by Caleb himself, and I'm sure it's an excellent book, American King, Seth Wickersham's book coming out, but that report that he was never taught how to watch film. I think that really is what kind of pissed off a lot of these coaches, that they wanted to explain to the world, to the public, what really went down behind the scenes, and we've got all the specific details that go into it. But I think the big picture takeaway is roles were reversed, right? This wasn't a a team interviewing a player for employment into that 2024 draft. It was very much team recruiting player, the first NIL superstar, really. And then when they kind of got Caleb Williams to a place of, okay, like he wants to play for the Chicago Bears, coaches and players, too, they could kind of feel it. Like this was somebody that had been coddled behind the scenes and expected to kind of be coddled on the field. It's a fine line because you got to tailor your offense to a quarterback.
Right.
But the Bears went to such a crazy extreme that it became such a detriment that by the time they wanted to hold him accountable, it was far too late. So, I mean, Ben Johnson's trying his best, man. They got rid of his best friend that was just chilling on the practice squad, who caught 4 or 5 passes at USC. He's gone, and they've got their offense that they want to run. They're not just going to let him do everything. But can he actually function with this offense? Will he actually watch film and listen to coaches? That takes a level of accountability that I don't know. I don't know if the Bears know if it's in Caleb Williams. We're going to find out.
Well, that was going to be my next question. For everything that's gone on, and you saw glimpses of this. You saw the protection from Lincoln Riley, where he would not allow Caleb Williams to talk to the media and to protect him. And then that was right after the crying incident with his mom on the sideline. And you saw him having meltdowns and problems. And you saw this. And then, this, players will say the tape doesn't lie. And there were things that he did really well. He's uber talented. And there's things that he doesn't do well because he either doesn't see it, doesn't know it, or doesn't understand it because he hasn't either been taught or just because his physical ability, he's always been able to overcome stuff like that. And I thought about that. Like, the NFL is different, man. You can't get away with it. And so now where this accountability level comes in, he's had 3 coaches now in a year and a game. So, I mean, you give him a little bit of a break at this point, but I guess, do you think there's an ability there to be coached?
God, that's the $13 million question that the Bears are banking on here in luring Ben Johnson. I really don't know, because I think you can't just skim past what went down last year. And look, these coaches are not completely blameless. I think that they're the first to admit that they twisted and contorted to an extreme that they shouldn't have. I mean, the snap count and cutting back on checks and audibles, all this stuff. But they dumbed down their offense to such a level where became so predictable. I mean, the offensive line coach, it drove him nuts. He'd clap his hands before the snap. I mean, they're just like teeing out these edge rushers. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I don't know, because it sounds like Ben Johnson's loading a lot onto his plate. And he's going to want a quarterback to be a Jared Goff point guard, A to B to C to D, make the right reads. Here's 2 plays. If that one looks like it's covered, go to the second play. That kind of stuff, just the Bears did not think. Caleb Williams told the Bears he didn't want to do that stuff, so they took it off his plate last year. Ben Johnson's going to want to do it. Now, I was watching the game. You can see in the preseason, too, he doesn't have a wristband on now, so I'm sure they're doing a lot of little things that do help. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as much about X's and O's as it is about just work ethic and want to and all the other stuff besides talent that go into the quarterback position. There was a GM I talked to for the series who said his interview with Caleb Williams was unlike any interview that he's had in his entire life. He couldn't believe it. It didn't seem like this. It wasn't a real interview. From body language to the way he talked, he was kind of aghast. So I don't know if this is a quarterback who does want to pour himself into the profession in ways that everybody else in his class does, because talent alone, it's just not going to get it done long term in the pros.
I've always said, look, talent will get you there. It's what's between your ears and your heart that will actually make you a football player or not. Because we've seen a lot of uber talented guys come into the league and they fail miserably because they just don't get it. They don't have the commitment. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the ability to understand it or the want to understand it. So here's my question, because one of the things you brought up where he's talking to a coach is trying to talk to him, and he just turns his back and walks away. Was there anything that was going to hold him accountable for at least the minimal actions behind closed doors that would make him say, I've got to be better, or was this stuff allowed?
That's a fantastic question, because it was allowed, if not like verbally in contract, through action for far too long, through training camp, through the first half of the season, because Shane Waldron, not his personality to escalate the situation. I think when Caleb Williams would just walk away from his offensive coordinator that first half of the year, Waldron wouldn't really push back. That's just not, he's non-confrontational. Okay, so then you have the New England game, 19-3, total disaster. Matt Eberflus tells his staff, look, we're going to get Caleb some competition in practice. We're going to work in Beijing, get him some reps. Nobody's getting fired. What happened the very next day? Waldron is fired. And Beijing, who the players also wanted in there, by the way, veterans made it very clear they wanted the backup quarterback to get his shot. Ryan Poles, the GM, steps in, we're told, and says, absolutely not. Caleb Williams is our unambiguous starter. And Waldron's gone. And then by the time Eberflus got fired and Thomas Brown takes over as interim head coach, that's what you kind of saw, Bill, the stuff you're talking about. This is an old school, hard-nosed coach who wasn't afraid to hold anybody accountable. I mean, in team meetings, he's telling everybody, look, if the quarterback's doing something wrong, tell him. It affects your job. And he tried to kind of zap that into the Bears those final 5 weeks. But it was too late. By then, the season's falling apart. The Bears fired their head coach for the first time ever in the middle of the season. So, I'm sure Caleb Williams said all the right things publicly. There were some bright moments. He looked good enough in that Detroit game for Ben Johnson to want to take the job. But this is the first time that he's had a head coach for a full off season, a full training camp, and now a full regular season, pushing him in ways he's never really been pushed before. And only Caleb Williams can answer for that. Only Caleb Williams knows if he's going to be hold himself accountable.
Ryan Poles, how much is he, if this succeeds, great. If it fails miserably, how much should he be held accountable for for not only seeing this in an interview before you bring him into your organization, but then allowing this to happen, knowing what's going on behind closed doors and everybody else around Caleb Williams is losing their job, but him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it all goes back to Ryan Poles, the general manager. I mean, he is the one that had the power. I mean, he would have drafted Caleb Williams first overall after that 2022 Heisman season if he could have. I mean, he fell in love hard. I mean, this is a former chief scout who in interviews, in so many words, kind of try to take a little credit. This is what one GM told me for the drafting of Patrick Mahomes, when who knows how much he really had there. But anyways, neither here nor there, he saw a lot of Mahomes in Caleb Williams. He wanted Caleb Williams. They get Carolina's first-round pick. Carolina falls apart, and it's starting in December of 2023. Scouts are telling me that out loud he's saying, man, the media will kill me if I don't take Caleb Williams. He was in love. There was not a serious conversation, a serious debate, a serious discussion period had about Jaden Daniels or Drake May or any of those other quarterbacks. I mean, we get into the entire quote-unquote rigged draft process, as one scout put it in part 2, where they're laughing at Drake May. I mean, they're showing his worst moments as a first impression to scouts in the room and just openly cackling, laughing, and shutting the tape off. Ryan Poles says, this makes my chest hurt. So he's not a consideration. And then Jaden Daniels, I think they wanted to bring him in for a visit, but at that point, it was so insincere that Jaden Daniels' camp, someone around Jaden Daniels told me they weren't even going to entertain it because they knew that Ryan Poles was all in on Caleb Williams. Like there was no, it blows your mind. Right. The most consequential decision in Chicago Bears modern history, all of these quarterbacks, and you never really discuss the other guys beyond basic background work. Their flaws were picked apart and discussed in that regard, but Caleb Williams' flaws most certainly were not. I mean, the scouts in the room told me it was very groupthink. It was very group consensus, and if you weren't on that Caleb train, then you probably weren't going to last. On that personnel staff.
Interesting stuff. Now, real quick, we only got about 30 seconds, but were you able at all to talk to Ben Johnson about this?
No, I wanted to talk to the GM and the quarterback. They weren't made available by the team. That's their prerogative. That's fine. And look, we have heard. We've heard from Ben Johnson. We've heard from Ryan Poles. We've heard from Caleb Williams for months and months and months, and kind of how they believe this thing can work. I think it is important, though, to hear the other side of this all. And there is another side of this all, as we detail, even if it is a little painstaking for the Bears fans.
It's fantastic stuff. If you want to read it, Bears fans or any fan in general, go to golongtd.com. It's a 3-part series, golongtd.com, and a lot of things, a lot of red flags behind the scenes. Tyler, great stuff as always, bud. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Hey, anytime, Bill. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tyler Dunn, golongtd.com. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. Man, that's interesting stuff. I mean, just crazy. That's why I use the term uncoachable when it comes to Caleb Williams. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 9/3/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
cannot wait. Can't wait. Get off the air today, and I head north. Going to God's country. Here we come. Our friends at WJJQ in Tomahawk, Wisconsin. Going to be in that area tonight, doing the show up there tomorrow. Both tomorrow and the huddle tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, we got a Packers watch party, a Green and Gold watch party. We are going to be at Castaways Pub and Grill. We can't wait. I was talking with Trish, the owner, up there yesterday, and people are excited. I am excited. If you're going to be up there for the Tomahawk Fall Ride, and a lot of people are going to want to ride someplace and go watch the game, look up Castaways. We're going to be there. We got, I don't know what all they're doing, drink specials and stuff, but with the Green and Gold postgame show is going to emanate live from there, coming up on Thursday night, right after the Packers and Commanders play. So we cannot wait to get to the Northwoods. We are going to be there starting tonight. And then just follow me on social media. Going to be out and about. I hope to make it over and see Rick and the gang over at Bonnie and Clyde's. Stop over at Bubba's. I can't wait to see the group over there at Holly's. As a matter of fact, the band that played for our party, our after party for the motorcycle ride, Six Pack Sammy's playing up there on Saturday night. I can't be there on Saturday night. Wish I could, but they got a whole slew of bands and events planned up there at Holly's on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So looking forward to it, but heading to the Northwoods. God's country, tall pines, winding roads. God, I can't wait. Maybe head up to Minocqua, stop in someplace there, get a bite to eat. Can't wait. I'm just going to do a little riding, a little fishing, and do the show. And it's a working vacation, but God, it's so wonderful up there. It's like a vacation just within itself. And doing this, come on, let's doing this for a living. This is never work. It's great because if you love what you do, it's never work, right? It's never work. That fast, we got an hour down. We got 3 more yet to go. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers did not practice yesterday, but if they would have, they would have been missing quite a few number of guys. The team had to put out an injury report as they prepare for their Thursday night's game against Washington. It included 13 guys with quite a few important names on there who wouldn't have practiced. Among them, offensive lineman Zach Tom and Aaron Banks, along with wide receiver Jaden Reed. Again, the Packers will face off with the Commanders on Thursday night at Lambeau Field, looking to move to 2-0. Washington, they won their opener as well against the Giants on Sunday. Turning to the Badgers, they're preparing for their first ever trip to Tuscaloosa to face Alabama this weekend. It will be their second game ever in the state of Alabama and their first true road game against an SEC team since 1972. Add in the Badgers lost to Alabama at home last year, and it's easy to understand that motivating his players isn't the top of Luke Fickell's to-do list this week.
I know guys, had circled for many reasons, right? Obviously, the way things went last year, but also for the idea of look, there's nothing more that you want to do as a competitor than be in the biggest games, the biggest competition out there, and to go to Alabama to play in front of that crowd, to go down there to play, in the SEC country. I think that there's not a guy within our program that isn't say that's one of the reasons why they're here.
It'll be Badgers and Crimson Tide Saturday at 11.
For nearly 40 years, ABC Wisconsin Apprenticeship has been helping men and women transform themselves into highly skilled trade professionals. These skills are in demand and provide strong wages and benefits for a bright future. If you're a hands-on person who likes the feeling when you get projects done, apprenticeship could be for you. Go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
The Brewers would open up their series with a 5-0 loss in Texas against the Rangers last night. Game 2 will be tonight at 7:05. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome in. So glad that you are with us. on this Tuesday edition, the warming up edition. Here comes September. 80 by the weekends. Coming back. It's coming back, baby. It's not going anywhere. I am stoked. I am stoked for a lot of reasons. It's a wonderful week upcoming. Obviously heading to the Northwoods and getting up into the Tomahawk area. We're going to see our friends at WJJQ, our fine affiliate up there. We're going to be doing the Green and Gold postgame show live from Castaways coming up on Thursday night. So if you're heading up to the Northwoods, to Tomahawk for the fall ride, and you're looking for a place to come and watch the Packer game on Thursday night, please come by. We would love to have you. It's a terrific place. They put a lot of money into it, and it's right there on the river. Wonderful, wonderful place to come and hang out. So we're going to be there on Thursday night, going to be doing the Green and Gold postgame show there, but doing a couple of shows. I don't know. I'm bringing like extension cords, Grant, and tables, and I've got this grand idea. I don't know if I can pull it off. So a friend of mine has a house on Lake Nokomis, and I've been staying there for years, and they're not even going to be there. They're going on a family reunion to Montana, and then from there, they're flying with friends to Italy. So they're like, just, hey, here's the house, go, and enjoy yourself. And so I was kind of thinking, well, they've got a beautiful home, and there's plenty of places that I can do the show from in the home. But I thought, how cool would it be if I could take the show outside? Because they are literally right on the lake, on Lake Nokomis. And I thought, man, if I could get an extension cord to run it. Now, their stretch from the house down to the lake is probably about 100 yards. So I would need quite a bit of extension cord. But I thought, how cool would it be to set the table up on the dock and have, those, because what you see up there is the single dude coming with the older guy coming by in the John boat, little rear trolling motor, coming under the bridge, ducking down. And then they get into that little mouth where Nokomis feeds, and they just sit there and they fish. How cool would it be to have a couple of guys going by in boats, fishing boats, pontoon boats, sitting behind me, that'd be kind of cool.
I think you got to make it happen. You just got to avoid what happened on the pier at the University Terrace a couple summers ago when the whole thing collapsed and all these students had their laptops and they all just went right into the drink.
Right.
We can't have that happen with the studio equipment.
No.
Maybe you got to limit your in-person audience down there just to make sure that the dock doesn't go falling out from underneath you.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
What I could see is an old-timey fisherman in a little John boat putt right up to you while you're on the air. So what you doing?
Right.
You zero idea of what's going on.
I'd have to have one of the cameras like just where I can handhold it, where I can just turn around and start showing the guy, that type of thing. Yeah, I've thought about that. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I got enough capability and enough. I don't know about the bandwidth and the internet and everything. I'd have to really kind of think about it, but yeah, it's so cool up there. And it's like, it's one of those things where I always tell people when they say, when you get a chance to go to all these places and do things, I want to be the eyes and the ears, because that's what you and I get a chance to do. We get credentials. We're no different than anybody else. We just do this for a living. So we get the ability to go in and see things. And I always want the ability to take everybody's eyes and ears with me, to be descriptive, to say, this is what you're witnessing. There's a beauty to radio. Now we have the ability with our video to show it, but I thought, man, this would be really, really cool if we could, do that and maybe get that camera down there. I'll technically try to do it. I won't get up there till late tonight. I probably won't get there till midnight. I've got the cigar dinner tonight that I'm doing over at Smoke on the Water. But boy, I thought if I could get up early tomorrow, take a nice walk. Maybe I'm taking my bike too, so I'm going to go ride my bike a little bit. But if I could take a nice walk or ride the bike and then get back and then get up and down that hill that they have sweeping out back and be able to do the show down there, I thought, boy, that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be really cool. You have a cigar dinner at Smoke on the Water tonight?
Yeah. They are doing a bourbon meat smoking tasting cigar dinner.
Well, I got this text from Smoke on the Water at 10. We should have Kate read this tonight. Fire, flavor, twilight. Experience a 3-course salmon. Should I drag her in here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot her a text real quick.
Yeah. We'll say we'll have Kate read it in her man voice. Yeah. There you go. Get Kate in there, in the not in the man voice, in the gentleman's club voice. So Kate doesn't sound like a man. She's got that whispery voice. But yeah, that's where I'm going tonight. So I'm going to go there for a little while and then head up to the Northwoods because I don't want to get there too late. because you got to find the place. There's not street lights around, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, we're going to be there starting tomorrow. The show is going to emanate from up there, and if it's weather-wise good enough, and then I'll be outside. And if not, then we'll be inside and in their home and set up somewhere and kind of enjoy myself. So I'm looking forward to it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Bob says it's called a tiller motor. The tiller motor, yeah, I know what a tiller motor is, but there's a guy that fishes next door. He's got a little John boat, and he's got a trolling motor on the front. He's got a Minn Kota trolling motor on the front. It's one of those. It's like the motor is worth more than the boat, where he pushes the button and then the thing goes out and keeps circling around until he retrieves it and it comes home to where the button is, and that's what he does. And he's I don't know how old he is. He's late 70s, early 80s. Just this cool little, and he retired up there, and all he does is fish. All he does is fish. That's it. And it's really cool. So yeah, I'd love to see him come passing by, And he doesn't have like a stringer, those metallic mesh buckets that you put the fish in and then you let the bucket dangle off the boat. That's what he keeps his fish in. He just drops them down in there. He always pulls the bucket up. Here you go. He's got, a bunch of crappie and everything in there. So
panfish. Yeah. What you got to get is one of those wooden baskets. My mom has my old grandpa's one. They go over your shoulder when you're fishing. Oh yeah. Lower it down into like a wicker.
Yeah.
Like
a wicker basket. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. There you go. The old style way. He still has he fishes in the bucket hat. He's got a bucket hat. Now, I always ask him, do you use the lures that are in the bucket hat? He says, no, I don't use these anymore. And he's got a little cork insert inside the bucket hat. So that way he doesn't, pierce his head with all the hooks. But he's got them all hanging off his bucket hat. He's a cool dude, man. Cool dude.
Those lures have probably been stuck in that hat for 25 years.
Oh, God, yeah.
They're not coming out
rusty now. And everything, Stop over to the Windmill ice cream shop, maybe the Tilted Loon, get something to eat. I can't wait. I think of you doing this because this is if you had anybody to run the show, you should come with me. I mean, this is your haven. I mean, you'd be down there every day. This is your haven down there.
I definitely would be. Kate is here. Would you like to hear her read the Smoke on the Water description of tonight?
Go. So let me do this. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Here's Smoke on the Water in Okauchee Lake coming up tonight. And they still have room, by the way. So if you're interested in this, by all means, do so for this dinner. So Kate is now in the studio. And
Kate, are you ready?
Kate, is Kate on camera? No, Kate's not on camera. Okay.
She's not on camera. Okay. I could drag her over here if you'd like. But
they have a bourbon cigar dinner tonight. So in your best, hey, gentlemen, come to the club type of voice, we need you for this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because, of course, I do the strip club advertisements. I feel like people need to know that before I start.
See, she just goes right in head first. She's like, no, I do the strip club stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, that is my voice, okay? And I have lost my voice.
It's the gentleman club. And you're like, no, I do the strip club stuff. How are you?
That's right. Okay.
There you go.
I hope I don't start laughing during this, okay? I do sometimes in the studio by myself when I'm making the cuts, okay? Are we ready? Can we get some music, Grant?
Oh, we need some.
Yeah, I'll get right on that, Kate. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Thanks, Grant.
Right, yeah. If you have any...
Let's go, producer Grant.
You play something from like The Weeknd. You can actually Google on Spotify, I think it's like Sex Music Radio. And they have a whole radio station dedicated for when you're getting ready to get busy. In case anybody wanted to know, you can Google that. So anything, there you go, Grant. How we looking? All right, Kate, we got something going on in Smoke on the Water night. What is it? Tell us about it.
Tonight, fire. Grant, you can't laugh during this. I'm hiding myself from Grant. Here we go. Fire, flavor, twilight. Experience the 3-course salmon or steak dinner. Kissed by flame in our new fire-breathing dragon. After, something special to create an evening of unmatched ambiance. Learn more at our link.
Should I click that link? I want to click that link.
Click that link. Click that link, baby.
That's crazy. What in the world is going on at Smoke on the Water?
What's going on at Smoke?
Yeah, I don't know who wrote that, but they had a good night last night.
Come on out and feel the smoke. How we looking? There you go.
The fire-breathing dragon.
You know what that is? It's like crazy. A smoker that opens up, and it's got all the meat attached to like these wings, and the fire's in the middle of this thing. So you lay down all the wood down the middle of this thing and the embers, and then when you open it up, it's like all these ribs and all these steaks and everything hanging off of the wings of this thing. It's amazing.
Well, it sounds like an interesting experience, although in the text that Grant has and a number that hasn't been saved, of course, it is hilarious.
I get a lot of texts from Smoke on the Water. I'm a member of their text club. What can I say?
Yeah. Come on out.
Come on into Smoke on the Water.
Check out our fire-breathing dragon.
Grant is turning red over here from trying not to laugh.
I know.
I'm clearing my history on the studio PC. I just had to search sex music, so I'm just going to write that real quick.
Yeah, that's Randy Hawk is coming through the door.
After something special to create like that, the writing on this was done by, like I said, someone who had a good night last night.
They have a professional writer. As a matter of fact, he's a writer, and he was out in Sturgis with us, as a matter of fact. But that's fantastic.
Very good work, Kate. I believed that listening to that. You can do commercials.
Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Grant. I appreciate that.
That's stuff. We need a 2-shot now in the studio. We got to find ourselves another camera. We got to spend an extra another $59.
I'll come wave high before I leave.
On a camera and a tripod. So there you go. So we can get that. Our listenership just went up. How about that? So Kate, what do you got going on before we let you go? There's Kate.
What was I? What
do you got going on
before we let you go?
Oh, yeah. I'm just doing a promotions meeting right now. So we're talking about some random stuff in there, like our Luke Bryan farm tour on Thursday. Grant won't be there, will you?
No, I will. Well, I will not be there. No.
Hey,
I wish.
She just did her last game for the Sky Carp. Ask her that.
I did. Yeah, that was my last one with the Sky Carp. They're going into playoffs. They have a game tonight, but I'll be at practice.
Okay. There you go. Kate, fantastic job. Good stuff.
Bye now.
There you go. That's Kate. Kate, one of our Kate's a producer. She's paid now, right?
Oh yeah.
She's a paid producer right now.
Tiers above intern Austin, with all due to intern Austin, who's not an intern either, but Kate actually does important. Kate's going to be she might be my boss already, actually.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So that's Kate. All right. After that, what I'd like everybody to do, okay, here's your assignment during the commercial break. Cold shower. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at schneiderjobs.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We got something going on at Smoking the Water Night. What is it? Tell us about it.
Tonight, fire, flavor, twilight. Experience a 3-course salmon or steak dinner, kissed by flame in our new fire-breathing dragon. After, something special to create an evening of unmatched ambiance. Learn more at our link.
I've been really trying, baby.
Oh.
Trying to hold back this feeling.
If every male within the sound of my voice is heading over to Smoke on the Water tonight, and maybe some of you women, see you there. That's it. Marvelous job. Marvelous job. And if this happened to you, dudes, you need to go test on a testosterone replacement. Just saying. But there you have it. Excellent job by Kate on the Smoke on the Water read for coming up tonight. So there you go. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Good stuff. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so. This is from Mark. He said, I'd like to go to Smoke on the Water, but only if Kate is going to be there. If Kate's not going to be there, where can I go to see Kate? That's kind of a creepy stalker question, to be perfectly honest with you. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight.
Oh, good gosh. Well, there you go. That was our fun and frivolity for the day. That's fantastic. Hey, don't forget
fire, flavor, twilight.
Twilight. You have to pause when she says twilight. You got what? Fire what? Yeah, huh? So, oh man, yeah. Thomas says, yeah, she could sell snow to Eskimos. Come into my igloo, buy some snow. Okay. I don't even know what an Eskimo sounds like. I couldn't tell you. But I would imagine that they're all flocking to their local market now for a bag of snow. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Man, that's good stuff. Okay. Yeah, Jeff says outstanding. This is from Mark, who says, Kate's got a career in this business. Kate does a ton of country stuff. She's got she does now. Okay. I want you to know. Kate is, you saw her on camera. Kate's an attractive girl. So she goes out and she takes pictures of her in these outfits before she goes out. What is her Instagram page? She started with 1, and to build Instagram is tough to do. You know, to get 100 in a month, the 100 followers is a really good thing, unless you go viral on something. I think she's got more followers because I don't post Instagram all the time. I just started doing it. So I got, over 3,000, 3,500, something like that. I don't know what it is. What has Kate got?
Kate Gunderson 12 is her Instagram handle. She's got 2,600 followers. And yes, it is difficult to build a following, especially when you look like us.
She had 500 when she started as an intern. And she, boom, it continues to grow. She posts all the time. There's nothing in her life, I think, that she does that she doesn't post about.
Kissed by flame.
So There you go. There you go. Kate Gunderson 12, if you're going to follow her. Kate Gunderson 12 on Instagram. This is from, I got some text message. I want to get into this. Do you think, from John and Eau Claire, do you think the Bears are missing Justin Fields? Looking at the way I'll say this, Justin Fields was unduly benched by Mike Tomlin playing well for Russell Wilson, who ultimately faltered down the stretch. Justin Fields played really well in that game against Pittsburgh for the Jets. He's got talent. He has been kicked around. He was put into a craptastic organization and never really given an opportunity. And I hope that he has more of an opportunity consistently in New York to blossom, because he could end up being a pretty good quarterback, I think. Now, he's still, I think Justin Fields is better than Caleb Williams. I do. He's got more, when it comes to culture, pedigree, playing those years at Ohio State for that organization, knowing what it's like to be coached, knowing what the expectations are, knowing you're the center of focus, all of that prepared him. What he did was he ended up in a craptastic organization who has done nothing but have a propensity but to ruin quarterbacks or pick the wrong ones and put miserable pieces around them. They got it right once. And that's been about it. They celebrated the 85 Bears last night. They got it right once. So I think he'll be a better quarterback. And yes, I think Bears fans watching him blossom and watching what they have. Now, again, far, far, far too early to tell what the Bears are going to be with Caleb Williams, because Ben Johnson just took over. They've only had one game. And Ben Johnson chose not to, kind of coddle Caleb Williams. So Caleb Williams is now either going to buck the system and try to kick and scream going to the altar, so to speak, to be married to his head coach and play caller, or he's going to conform and just say, okay, I'm here, mold me, make me the best I can be. If he does that, then I think he can have a really successful career. But if he stays on the pedestal that others around him and himself has put himself up on, then I think he's going to be an ultimate failure. But yeah, I think Bears fans are missing Justin Fields.
It's always been tricky to project college quarterbacks to the NFL. Like, even the people who are best at it, they get it wrong all the time. I think it's going to get even harder because now all these quarterbacks that are coming out that are going in the top 5, top 10, they've made millions. They've been told how great they are. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to go down as maybe the best quarterback I've ever watched in my lifetime. He had to go to community college. And then he had to go to Cal, right? Like, Josh Allen got one D1 offer. It was Wyoming. And it's just like a lot more of the quarterbacks moving forward are going to take an Arch Manning path or a Caleb Williams path. So I think now more than ever before, it's important. Who do you have around you? Who do you have advising you? Who are these players, these kids listening to? Because it can go sideways when these players are told from the age of 18 that you're the greatest thing ever and we will do anything that you want and we'll build it around you and we'll cut you a blank check. I think that stuff matters.
Right. I would agree. So yeah, I think Bears fans are probably looking over that fence right now. Look, if you're a Bears fan and you're waking up today pissed off about last night, rightfully so, I understand it. But I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They're still going to be a viable team. They still have a decent defense, and they're going to make up for some of Caleb Williams' mistakes. And Ben Johnson is going to be patient, but we all know Ben Johnson likes to put things in to the playbook that are off the wall. He's that guy. He sees things. He can be that level of savant when it comes to watching an offense or watching things that other teams do via offense that he can pull out of out of his quiver to throw at you. It's whether or not the capability of the quarterback has the acceptability to execute stuff like that and pay attention to stuff like that and study stuff like that. So I'll have to wait and see. What else do we have here for you? I got to get the text line because people have been, going crazy on the text line. Scott in Fort Worth says he has tickets. By the way, we got coming up here bottom of the hour. Speaking of the Brewers, we got Chuck Freimund from the Locked On Brewers podcast going to join us. Brewers still 7.5 games up. Got beat last night 5-0. He said, I have tickets to the Brewers game tonight. Pissed that Chad Patrick is pitching tonight and still in the rotation. Why is he still here? That is from Scott in Fort Worth. Chad Patrick. He is not. I'm trying to look over his last. Well, you go back to June 29th. He threw 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs. Not a bad way to go. You go to July 5th, his last start there, 5 innings, 4 hits, a couple of runs. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs in July total. And then he threw 5 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, remember. Against Chicago, they had some errors in that contest. And then against San Francisco, he went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. It wasn't terrible starts. The last one, he got bombed. Or no, I take that back. No, he didn't. I apologize. No, he didn't. The last one was August 24th. August 24th. 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. One of those being a long ball, a couple of walks, and 7 strikeouts. Teams are batting what against him? 225 on the season. It's not terrible. It's not awful. He's got in the last 30 games, he's got a 1.3 whip, 106 strikeouts. In his last 7 games, 35 1/3 innings pitched, 39 hits. That's the one thing that they're hitting pretty good, but 20 earned runs. 20 earned runs. And with a 5.09 ERA in his last couple of outings, which is not great. Last 15 ball games, he's got an ERA of 3.97. So recently it hasn't been great. It's the bottom line is this. Don't forget, they got to score some runs tonight. They've been scoring runs. I can't imagine that this is going to be the same old, but they got to score some runs tonight and get up on it. So, let's see here. Stephen Richfield said, Bill, I'm thinking the Bears cannot evaluate talent. Think about this. Trubisky, Fields, and now Caleb Williams with his pretty nail-polished fingers. Stephen Richfield. Ryan of Manitowoc said, I was listening on a YouTube clip of ESPN, and I think it was a Sunday morning show, and we're going to talk about Reggie White and Micah Parsons, and I forgot who said it, but I thought it was a good comparison. Reggie White was the dominant defensive end. You had the double team, and Micah Parsons was like Troy Polamalu, where you needed to know where he was lining up on the field at all times. You had to know where he was. I thought that was a good comparison. Then I was listening to Al Michaels on the Rich Eisen show, and he said, why does everybody have to be compared to someone else? Why can't we just watch and be amazed what these guys are doing on the field? Because what you're trying to do is link it to successful history. When you want to compare things in a positive or negative light, you're trying to link it to successful history, to say this is what level that you're at. Because otherwise, you're just looking at a guy going, he's great. Well, what's he compared to? That's how we look at Hall of Famers. We compare their numbers statistically, championships, all that stuff, playoff appearances, you name it. We compare that to others that are there. You have a bar that has been set. So when others are compared to that bar, you're comparing either the level of greatness or just the sub-level of greatness, or this is how bad it is. We remember in our minds certain things that are etched. We remember the greatness of Reggie White. We know the greatness of a guy coming off the edge like a Lawrence Taylor. We remember guys like that. So you make that comparison. And the biggest, acquisition coming into Green Bay as the free agent was the first free agent. That was Reggie White when God told him to go to Green Bay. And then that other piece called Brett Favre came to Green Bay. Those two took over their sides of the football, and ultimately led by Mike Holmgren, everything fell into place and they ended up winning a championship. And that restored the luster back to Green Bay. And really the losing seasons have been few and far between for this franchise ever since, going all the way back to 1992 when they started to build this thing. So that's why. And I agree with Al Michaels. You should just look at somebody and go, damn, they're really, really good. But we always know what the bars are of successful levels. That's why we measure them the way we do. And that's just my thought on it. All right, let's do this. When we come back, we will talk a little Brewers. We're going to talk with our buddy Chuck Freimund. Chuck Freeman's going to join us and discuss his thoughts on maybe Chad Patrick pitching tonight and this team now This team now, man, telling you 7.5 games up, 7.5 games up, not relinquishing that lead. It's over. 17 games left to play. This portion of it brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. And you want to talk about going to a place to watch the game. They have a screen in there that's as big as the screen at Jerry World that goes from the 20 to the 20. It's enormous. It's huge. Go in there and check it out. And they have all different games and different parlays and things to bet on and things to look at and, sound from the Packers games. And I mean, it's an incredible, incredible place. You can get some food. You can place a few wagers if you want, or you go outside. The entertainment, the gaming, music, DJs, bands, they got something for everybody. That's Potawatomi Hotel Casino, Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go to paysbig.com. Chuck Freimund next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 9/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's on it. It was a great day for him. Came up kind of empty, got one hit, but he had put two other balls that, they're homers in some parks, Vaughn hit a couple screechers, and, Bryce hit the first ball of the game. That looked like that's a hit in a lot of parks, but it's just part of it. Credit to the Rangers. They did a great job, and their starter was great.
Those are the words of manager Pat Murphy. Brewers still 7.5 games up as the Cubs have now lost 3 straight. Brewers heading into the postseason. They are 5 games better than Philadelphia right now for the best record in the National League. They are 9 games better than the Dodgers for the best record in the National League, and they are efforting towards that first overall seed in the National League. This portion of the program brought to you by Levine Iceburner, and they are personal injury attorneys, estate planning. If you got civil litigation, whether it's a contract dispute or something to that effect, all you got to do is call, and they actually answer the phone, and these people actually go to court for you. They're not just figureheads or faces that say, come and try us. Call them 608-621-2888, 608-621-2888. Levine Iceburner. I worked with Brent Iceburner on a Fisher House board for a few years, and just had a chance to see him again not that long ago at the Fisher House Golf Outing, doing extremely well. He's a veteran himself. Levine Iceburner, again, for injury attorneys, estate planning, civil litigation, business, you name it, they can do it. That is Levine Iceburner. All you got to do is give them a shout, and they will be happy to give you a hand and help you out. And hopefully they do, because they're, like I said, they're really good at what they do. Good stuff. Joining us now on the hotline, our guy from the Locked On Brewers podcast, Chuck Freimund is here. Chucker, how you doing, pal?
Oh, William, doing great. I was planning out where the Brewers might play if they, I'm assuming they're going to get the number 1 seed. They'd play the winner, as I got to figure it out, the San Diego and Cubs series. So I'm going on the road with the team to cover the team. So I was thinking about going out this. I'm going to go out to San Diego, but I won't be taking my golf clubs. You know how it is when you go on these trips and when you got to cover, people think, wow, you see the whole city. Nope. Man, it's pretty much work. That's what it is.
Exactly. You're working, you're writing, you're getting sound, you're doing your stuff. You go to bed, you get up the next day, you're going back to work. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I agree with you. For all the consternation when the Cubs got it to 5 games, I know Cubs fans were like, here we go. And I said, no, you're not. Not going to happen. You've been consistently inconsistent all season long. The Brewers have been consistent. They lose a game or two, and the next thing you know, they win 2 or 3 right after that, which they did against the Pirates. And it's over. The division's over. Now they're just efforting towards the best record in baseball. You got Chad Patrick on the hill tonight. One of our listeners said, how is Chad Patrick still in this rotation? So you tell me, you like Chad Patrick going to the hill tonight?
He's 3-8, but he has put up some decent starts for them. He comes up here to give the rotation an extra day's rest, Bill, and that's all he's doing. Chad Patrick's not pitching in the postseason. They're still trying to win games. Last night, I can tell you, Murphy was not happy with the way they played,
right?
Because they committed some mistakes. But no, I mean, Chad Patrick has made some nice starts for them this year. I'm not going to write him off, he especially early in the year. Very good. He's made a couple of decent starts. So, no, I don't have any problem at all with Chad Patrick. Remember, it's also tapering this team and getting this team some adequate rest and making sure you're playing your best baseball going in October.
What concerns you more? Trevor McGill being able to kind of that elbow and coming back after getting some rest, or the back of Christian Yelich?
Oh, good question. I feel like when the Brewers, and you know this, Bill, when a player or a coach or manager says everything's good or this, don't believe it. Now, Yelich just says everything is good. I just take that with a grain of salt because he's not going to say, God, my back is just killing me. I'm dragging him going out there. No, because he never told us he was hurt in the first place.
Right.
So, and that's right. They don't need to give us the keys to the kingdom. Yelich, but he's played a lot of games.
Yeah.
He had played in 18 of the 18 games in 17 days. He had played in every one of those games. He's played in like in 130 of 137 games this year, much more than I thought he was going to play. So we'll see how he is. He looked great last night. 3 hard hit balls.
Yeah,
looked terrific. Now McGill, when he comes off the injured list, that's we'll see how effective he is. He wasn't very effective going into the list. His last 2 outings weren't very good. So I'm really curious about how McGill is going to be. But I think Yelich, looked fine last night.
Yeah. To have him back is a boost, obviously. Now, again, they didn't get what they were hoping for. But, nevertheless, so you got to score. Because last night, 5-0, I looked at it and went, well, if they lose 10-0, I don't care, because you got to score runs to be able to win, and they just weren't able to do so last night. I don't look at it as any kind of a major problem. You talked about the possibility of this team and who they may face. There's a good possibility they could face the Cubs. So give me your thoughts on 2 things. One, I know there's some consternation from fans because they'll say, oh my God, winning the division is great, but you got to get past the Cubs. And the Cubs fans are salivating saying, hey, you may have won the division. Who cares? But we're going to beat you in the postseason to advance. So there's that rivalry. But I got to think it would be great for baseball for these 2 teams in this division, these 2 now rivals being only 85 miles apart. I think it would be fantastic. Craig Counsell,
it would be fantastic.
There's drama actually for Milwaukee in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I still think, as I told you at the top, I think San Diego's going to win that series. Although I would love it for the Cubs and the Brewers to play each other. I feel like the Cubs are, I dub them as Team Lifeless, and it drives Cubs fans crazy on the podcast when I call them Team Lifeless. And they were again last night.
Yeah.
And did you see how they blew the game on Sunday and they lost on Saturday? Cubs aren't exactly playing their best baseball right now.
Yeah. The whole city of Chicago has been nothing but a giant open mouth gargler at this point, because watching the Bears choking away last night and the Cubs choking away on Sunday, it's like, wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. If you are in the city of Chicago, you're walking around with a cup because you've just taken the continuum of nut kicks one after the other.
Here's the thing about
go ahead.
Chicago, bro. I always feel like this with Chicago. Chicago, they're all about the hype. Oh, this is going to be our year. This is going to be it. And then the show's over once the game starts.
Right. Chicago has been the reigning champion of winning the offseason for a long time. They win the offseason. Everything's great. And then the games actually are played, and then they're like, oh, crap. But they won the offseason.
Yeah, it's like when the Bears got Julius Peppers, okay? They got Julius Peppers several years ago, before the Packers did. And that was supposed to be the guy for them. And they were celebrating down in Chicago sports radio. How'd that turn out?
And then they got Khalil Mack. Then it was going to be good again, and then, and then they got Khalil Mack, and then they drafted Justin Fields, and then they made the move for Mitch Trubisky, and then, then they got Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams is our guy.
Yeah.
Mike Kelso is our guy. Now they can't wait to get rid of him.
They could get Shohei Ohtani, and he would blow out both knees and a shoulder, and then that would be the end of that train as well. As we head down the stretch, Jackson Cheerios come back and look pretty good. His average sitting at 276 right now. Obviously, Bryce Terang just had an incredible August. Now efforting into September. Contreras has kind of bounced back, even though he was at 0 for last night, but his power numbers have gone up, and being able to play Denny Jansen. Do you think, like, right now, what else needs to happen for this team to be firing on all cylinders going into the postseason, do you think?
I mentioned this in my podcast. I don't see a weakness in this team. And generally, every team has got a weakness. I look at the Mets, and I look at the Phillies, I look at the Dodgers. 3 teams, the Brewers are clearly better than the Cubs, all those teams. The Brewers are just got to get healthy. And when guys, they've absorbed, they got 5 guys in their bullpen, 5 preferred guys in the bullpen who are on the injured list. You mentioned McGill, DL Hall among them, and there's a few other guys there. They just got Grant Anderson back. They just got him back last night. So they got 4 guys now. But maintaining the health, I think health is the only thing that can prevent this team from bowing out in the postseason. This team is so good at bouncing back from tough losses. Like they had a tough loss last night. They'll come back and win. They last Thursday, tough loss, 2-0 to the Phillies. They came back and swept the Pirates.
Yeah.
They did it in Toronto. They had a tough series. They lost 2 games against Arizona. They came back and they won the first 2 games and took 2 of 3 in Toronto. So this team, very resilient, really, really resilient. They just got a bunch of winners and gamers on that team, Bill.
I do this every time he starts to go into a funk, because when I talk about him, he tends to hit the cover off the ball. But Joey Ortiz over the last 2 weeks, 15, 16, 17 games, I think he's batting like 167. It's basically nothing right now, and he has not been doing much. He came back from injury, and he was red hot when he went down with the injury, and he came back a little bit hot, and then he has really cooled off. Concerns?
Still playing sparkling at defense at shortstop, though, and he made a nice play last night during that 4-run inning for the Rangers. So, I get it. We'll see how this goes here. The bases loaded thing is he has struggled with, but I still think Ortiz, I like him going forward at shortstop. I don't know how much the Brewers like him at shortstop going forward, but, we're going to have to sink and swim with that guy. Maybe Terang is ultimately the starting shortstop. You mentioned Terang a little while ago. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, man, why isn't Terang an MVP candidate?
Right.
Solid defense. He's hitting for power. He's got 17 bombs, nearly hit one out last night. Among the league leaders in batting average. How is Bryce Terang not being mentioned as an MVP candidate in baseball?
Yeah, he has played some really, really stellar ball. That I will agree with, no doubt. They also have the kid, Cooper Pratt, who is tearing it up in the minors right now. When you talk about a shortstop, is that how close do you think that future is to actually arriving here?
Well, you got him. You got Mate, who just got promoted to AA. He's the 5th best prospect in baseball. This Brewer team, this franchise is set up for years to come. Now, we'll see how that translates to the major league level, but they are awfully good in their farm system. They got the number 1 farm system in baseball. Not only you got the number 1 farm system in baseball, but you got the best team in baseball right now.
Yeah.
It's a good place to go. Now you just need championships to add to the mantle.
Right. No doubt. Chuck, where can they find you, man?
Oh, Bill, when I'm not on the Bill Michaels show, hit us on Google, Spotify, Apple, all the audio platforms you download your podcast. Locked On Brewers, the number 1 Brewers podcast out there. Go to our growing YouTube page as well. Go to YouTube, go to search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. As always, Bill, love talking to you baseball every Tuesday here at 11:35 on the Bill Michaels Show. My friend, have yourself a good week. We'll talk to you next week.
You the man, Chuck Freimund. Appreciate it, bud. There you go. He drops off, and he is going to be heading with the Brewers to wherever they go via the postseason. So you follow the Locked On Brewers podcast. You follow him right here on our program as well. We're going to break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to. We're halfway through this program almost, and we got a lot more going on. Stay tuned. Plus, we're going to hear from Jordan Love coming up. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Packers fans, your next quick trip run could score you the ultimate win. Cruising into tailgate season in a brand new Chevy Silverado RST, or blazing the trails on a new Polaris Sportsman 570, or grilling like an MVP with your new Pit Boss Ultimate Liftoff Griddle. Whoa, every dollar you spend at Quick Trip with Quick Rewards earns you a point in the Packers fan zone. So come in and get winning. No purchase necessary. Full details at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome in. Bill Michaels Show continues. This portion of it brought to you by friends at Veterans America. Veterans America, own the land you defend. That's what they believe in. That's what they want to do for you. If you're a veteran, military member, family member thereof, they want to help you navigate everything that is the pitfalls of trying to get through a VA loan. They know it better than anybody. You can go to a lot of different credit unions that claim they know it, but they don't specialize in it the way Veterans America does. So they believe in getting you everything you have earned. Call James, our buddy James Mercado, directly, 262-255-2000. That's 262-255-2000. Again, own the land you defend. That's Veterans America, whether it's a new home, a refi of your mortgage, buying a second property, rental property, whatever it is, they can help you out. And you can shop the rest, but they're the best. And they believe in making sure that you get what you deserve. And they're passionate about it, passionate about our military, our veterans, and the family members thereof. So call James Mercado directly. Call James directly, 262-255-2000. That's 262-255-2000. Or just check them out and go to veteransamerica.com. Make sure you tell them you heard it here, too, from all over the state of Wisconsin. Doesn't matter where you're at. Call them, 262-255-2000, or go to veteransamerica.com. That's veteransamerica.com. We're 2 hours into it. When we come back after the top of the hour, we're going to hear from the Packers quarterback, Jordan Love. So stay tuned for that. We've got that coming up. We're going to hear more from inside the Packers locker room. Packers back in the practice field, getting after it. We'll also run through yesterday's injury report, getting ready for the Commanders game coming up on Thursday night at Lambeau Field. So we'll get into all of that stuff as well. But I want to let you hear, from Jordan Love coming up. By the way, our buddy Steve says, I spent some summers as a kid in Tomahawk. My aunt and uncle used to have a bar and a motel there, which is no longer there. And it was my job to sweep and mop the tavern every morning, restock the coolers, and fill the ice bins. In the afternoon, my uncle would take me to the cottage on James Lake, and I would love to ride my bike to the Wisconsin River by the bridge and go shore fishing behind the bait shop just west of Business 41 or 51. That's the Little Blackwater. It holds some nice crappie and big bluegills back there for sure. Thanks for bringing up some priceless memories. That's our buddy Steve in Richfield. Steve, you the man.
I have to share before we take our top of the hour break and get to Jordan Love. So Kate has been giving me updates on her Instagram following. She gained 57 new followers in like 20 minutes. So
really?
I'm very happy for Kate. If some of you could maybe follow me on Twitter, as long as we're just handing out follows. My Instagram, I don't post on my Instagram, but throw me a follow on Twitter, I guess.
Okay, yeah, you can.
Good for Kate.
I don't post. I mean, I've started posting more on Instagram because now my accounts are linked. So whenever I post on Instagram, it goes to Facebook and vice versa. And I do a lot of videos now because it's just easier than writing and producing all stuff. So, but I try to do what I can. So, but yeah, Kate's. I don't look like Kate, so I can't do a selfie in the mirror, and people are going to go, "Oh."
Do you have a Harley vest? You could
follow him.
Post a picture of you, no sleeves under the vest, out at the tiki bar. Sex sells.
Yeah, well,
you've worked in media for a long time. You know that.
I know. I don't think I have that appeal, except for like lonely people in prisons.
Well, there's an audience for everyone, Bill. There's a following for everyone.
Oh, God. Let's do this. Get off of this particular topic, and we are going to come back, and we are going to talk a whole lot more about Jordan Love, the Green Bay Packers, Micah Parsons, part 2. Stay tuned. We got a lot of I'm leaving. All right. Talk to you in a minute. Bye.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Wisconsin gearing up for its toughest task so far this season as they get ready to face number 19 Alabama in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. It'll be just the second game the Badgers have played in the state of Alabama and the first true road game against an SEC school in 53 years. Whether they'll have their starting quarterback remains to be seen. Billy Edwards Jr. missed last week's game against Middle Tennessee State with a knee injury. His status for Saturday up in the air, according to Coach Luke Fickell.
Yeah, I mean, he's throwing the ball around. He's here constantly getting treatments and things like that. I think it's going to be, where he really feels as we get later towards the week, whether it's, we're going to have to protect Billy from himself. I know that at some point in time. I don't know when that is, but he's a guy that's, going to be prepared and always wants to go.
If Edwards can't go, Danny O'Neal will get the start in his place. He threw for 283 yards and a pair of touchdowns last week in his first start. Kick is slated for 11 a.m. Turning to the Packers, it's a short week for them as they will host Washington on Thursday night at Lambeau Field. Injuries could play a big role for them, with 13 players on the first injury report yesterday, including a pair of starting offensive linemen. Kick on Thursday night is set for 7:15.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer, but did you know they also offer competitive home, auto, business, and life insurance? They make it convenient to bundle your insurance while saving you time and money. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Brewers and Rangers will face off again tonight in Texas. The Rangers took the first game last night in a shutout. Despite that, Brewers' magic number to clinch the NL Central is now down to 11. First pitch tonight is set for 7:05. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome. Bill Michaels Show is back. 2 hours down. Got 2 more yet to go. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. So we've been off to kind of a fast start today. We just covered a lot. So let's do this. I want to get back into some Packers chatter. Packers obviously getting ready now. Everything from the win on Sunday, fantastic. But now you got to shake it off. You got to get ready for the Commanders that are coming to town on Thursday night. Lambeau Field, Thursday night, Prime Video, all that kind of good stuff. Don't forget, we got the Greenville postgame show up at Castaways. We're going to be live at Castaways Pub and Grill. We're going to be in Tomahawk, Wisconsin. And if you're going to be within the sound of my voice and you're going to be riding up there, or you live up there, or you're coming down from Minocqua or any of the surrounding areas, come on by, say hello. We're going to be at Castaways Pub and Grill. We're going to be there for the game. So if you want to come in and say hi early, that's great. I'll be there early, probably setting up. But I think I'm going to stop over there tomorrow. As a matter of fact, tomorrow afternoon, go over and say hi, maybe get something to eat. Just check the place out for our capabilities, and then get back over there on Thursday. But I'm excited. I can't wait to get to the Northwoods. I'm so excited to be heading up there. The first thing I did today when I got up, I had to go get my oil changed because I'm towing the motorcycle trailer and everything. And first thing I did today is don't forget the fishing poles. So I grabbed my fishing rod and reel, 2 of them, and then I grabbed the tackle box and everything. And if you live in that area, by the way, let me know what they're biting on. If there's anything specific that they're biting on right now, because otherwise I can't wait for dusk and to stand there at Lake Nokomis and down there near the flowage and just throw maybe a jitterbug up and down the shorelines. And just, I can't wait. I'm just so excited to be able to just relax and do a little fishing, still do the show, and just enjoy some time in that beautiful area. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. But come on over, Castaways Pub and Grill, Thursday night. We're going to be there live. And that being said, the quarterback for your Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. Take a listen.
What does it mean to beat those guys and get a week 1 victory and things that you hadn't done?
No, it's amazing. Obviously, I think a big goal for us was to be able to come in here and start the season off fast and start the season on the right note. So to come in here week 1 at home and get a dominant win like that is amazing, and exactly what we've been working for. So it feels great.
Jordan, you guys talked all week about getting off to a fast start because you didn't do that in some of these games last year. Like, what was the key to doing that offensively?
Just making plays, just going out there and executing at a high level, making plays. So like you said, it was a big goal for us to come in here and start fast. And, I feel like you said, in our past couple games against these guys, we've got off to some slow starts and put ourselves behind. So it was a big goal for us to come out here and start fast. And we did exactly that. Came out, opening drive, scored points. So it's exactly how you want to start right there.
I think you were 4 for 4 on your first 4 third downs. Was there any key to that, or the plan coming in for those?
No, I think we had a great plan coming in for our third downs, and obviously third downs just comes down to executing, going out there and making plays. And I think early on they were playing a lot of man, and guys going out there and winning their one-on-one matchups. I think the O-line did a great job. They gave me a lot of time back there, kept me clean. So I think it always starts up front, and I think they did a great job, and were able to have us help us get some opportunities down the field to throw the ball. So it just comes down to executing.
I think that third down, Jordan, touchdown to Tucker, I believe that was the third down.
Mm-hmm.
We're just seeing that one because just watching on TV, there wasn't a lot of space there, but you two in a perfect spot.
Yeah, tight window. Tuck's running this route, got quarters coverage, and was able to get, behind the linebacker and inside the safety, and gave me enough room. And I trusted him, just put the ball out there, and he made a great catch right there.
Josh is a great player. Just 8 yards at the half. But what's it like to have a leader like that? He waits for the game to come to him, and then can get you big touchdowns like you do.
Yeah, Josh, obviously, he always wants to, have the rock in his hand, and, that's what type of player he is. But, I think, their game plan was come here and stop the run. And, they were doing a good job of that. And, so we struggled early on to get the run game going. But I think, we made those big plays in the pass game. So, obviously, Josh is he's a pro. He's going to wait for those opportunities to come his way and just keep going.
Jordan, when we talked to you, I think this week, you said it might take a little bit of time for you to, be in rhythm and connecting with the receivers because of all the injuries in camp. Just what were your thoughts on how you guys were kind of connected and clicking, and just how everyone caught the ball and made those plays?
Yeah, like you said, I think everybody's just making plays. When the ball came their way, obviously, like I said before, just going out there and winning their matchups on some of their routes and just executing at a high level. So, that's always the test, is just coming in here and executing. And like you said, we had some guys banged up through camp and missed some practice time. So, I missed some practice time, which is, it's never ideal, but, you got to find ways to, stay focused and stay sharp throughout the week. And I think those guys have done a great job of that. And obviously came to the field and just got to go out there and make those plays.
Jordan, it took until the fourth quarter for Mike Parsons to get that sack. Kind of, what did you think about his impression here in his first game in the
Yeah, I think he was limited in some of the opportunities, and he was definitely out there on third downs. And obviously, the offense is going to have a plan to try and, put as many hands on him as possible. But, I think he was definitely making an impact, and his presence was felt out there on the field. And, I think our whole defense was doing a great job. D-line was getting pressure and making, Goff get the ball out, some checkdowns, things like that. And they're rallying and making plays. So I think they did a good job of taking away those big explosive plays.
You talked about how important it was for the team to get off to a good start. How about you individually? Is it personally important to have a game like this to start the season?
For sure. For me, for everybody. That's what I said. That's the goal. That was our mindset coming in, is we got to start fast. And obviously, everything starts with me. Be able to go out there and, be as accurate as possible and make great decisions with the ball. So I think we did a great job. And I'm definitely happy about the way we were able to get rolling early, make some big time plays.
Jordan, it didn't look like your thumb affected you in any way. Did it at all that we wouldn't have noticed, or how did you kind of approach it today?
No, the thumb felt good. I had no issues with it. Obviously, I was able to do everything with my left hand. So, just approached it like a normal day. And obviously a big test, coming to see how it would do with getting hit and things like that. But I think, I didn't really take too many hits today. So, thumb was good.
Do you know how many more weeks you'll need to wear? You'll have to wrap it up?
He'll be for a couple more weeks for sure. So it was like 8 weeks post-surgery. So he'll be for a while.
Jordan, what happened on the aftermath of the interception that got called back, where Hutchinson waxed you, and then it looked like Zach jumped over you to avoid landing on you, and then he gets hurt? What happened from your perspective there?
I'm not even sure. Obviously, I was getting smacked, so I don't even know what happened. Zach, I think he said he tried jumping over me and avoiding me or something like that, but I didn't get to see what happened. I just got up and saw him down. So obviously it was tough, having him go out the game. But I don't think it was anything too major. We'll see. But yeah, I have no idea what happened.
Jordan, you had 16 completions today to 10 different receivers. What does that say about the Packer offense, that you can be efficient while spreading the ball?
No, I mean, I think it just goes to show you the depth we have at, receiver, tight end, and running back. We got playmakers all around, and guys that can all come in here and catch the rock and make plays. So, I think that's what you want as offense, be able to spread the wealth around and, keep the defense on their heels on who we're going to be targeting, things like that. But it just comes down to all those guys, being dialed in, going out there making plays. But I think it just shows you the depth we have at all those positions.
Jordan, you mentioned the offensive line. Why were they able to keep you clean all day?
Yeah, they were just dominant up front today. They did a great job. I don't think there was, too many pressures too early on, and they just did a great job of, stopping their D line. And obviously, Hutchinson's one of the top pass rushers over there. So, we did a good job putting as many hands on him as possible. But, I think it just starts up front, and those guys did a great job. Just keep me clean and give me some time.
Jordan,
Lions score and then you go with that 48-yarder to Romeo. When you answer decisively like that, what can that do for us?
I mean, that's what you want. You want to be able to go out there and make those big explosive plays. And, I think it's a big momentum swing, getting that momentum back on our side. And obviously we went down on a 2-play drive and we were able to score quick. So, I think defense wasn't happy that they're getting back on the field that quickly. But, no, I think it's a momentum changer to be able to hit those big explosive plays. That's what we need.
Jordan, you're usually pretty even-keeled on the field, but after that first touchdown, you seem pretty fired up. What went into the emotion after that play?
Man, just feeling the emotion of the game right there. Be able to go out there, first game of the season, start fast, and just feeling the crowd and everything, and just obviously it's a fun game that we love to go out there and do and have fun out there. So just feeling the emotion of the game right there.
Jordan, take us through the touchdown pass to Jacob Reed.
Yeah, we saw their man coverage and got to a man check right there, and Jay Reed was able to, run a great route. We got a little bit of a rub right there, and made it easy for me to just lay one up to him and obviously finish it right there.
Jordan, how would you describe the defense's performance today?
Dominant, I would say. I think anytime you can hold, that's a really good offense over there. So anytime you can hold them to, going to that, last drive, 6 points, that's a dominant performance. So, it's something that I think is a great start for them, but obviously something we're going to keep wanting to build on. But just goes to show you, how good of a defense we got, because that's a pretty good offense on the other side.
I'm sure you guys came into the season figuring to be Super Bowl contenders, but big picture wise, what does today mean? Does it mean anything as far as that goes? Or did you guys, confirm that in your own minds, or is there any big picture view for this?
Yeah, big picture. I mean, it all starts with NFC North. So to have a North team come in here week 1, be able to get the job done, go 1-0 in the North is, the start we wanted right there. But big just picture for us right now is, Super Bowl is down the road, but it all starts with the NFC North. So we got to go out there and, obviously get off to a better start than we did last year. And I think it starts with what we did today. So,
Jordan, from that big picture standpoint, does it do something confidence-wise? Like, I know you guys believe in yourselves, but these guys have gotten you the last 3 times here at Lambeau. Does it do something to confirm what you already believed in yourselves, that you were able to do this and build on it?
Definitely. Like you said, it's a team that, like you said, they've got us, the past couple games we played against them. So, so it was a big test coming in here week 1, really good team coming in. And like you said, we know what type of team we have, but definitely confirms it and gives you some more confidence to keep building on. But obviously it's still week 1. We got a long season ahead, and we got to keep just building and elevating every week as we go. And, there's going to be a lot of stuff to clean up. But like you said, we know we have a great team, but to go out there and have a dominant performance, it does, kind of confirm those things we had. But just early days and early week 1, so we just got to keep building on it.
Jordan, with Mike's sack in the fourth quarter, I imagine running towards your sideline, you might have had a pretty good view of it. What did you think of the chase down speed?
Oh man, it's insane. I saw Jared start breaking right, and I don't even know if he knew Michael was coming, but we all saw him. So I was hoping that he would hold on to the ball right there, and Mike could be able to get to him and hopefully have a strip sack. But Michael was flying right there, and it just goes to show you, his motor. He's able to win late. Quarterback escape, and he's able to chase him down. So I'm glad he was able to get, his first sack here and his first start here in Lambeau. So, stuff he's going to keep building on. But, I just feel like his presence out there was different. The energy he brought to the crowd when they announced his name and then be able to get that sack was big time.
Does that count for your vision that you suggested on Wednesday? That he didn't get the sack till the fourth quarter. Does it still count? Or
didn't quite, count. They made us take the ball first. I wanted defense go out there first and him get a sack. But we took the ball, went down and scored. But no, I think in that vision, I knew he was going to get a sack today at some point. But no, it wasn't the first drive. But he got it eventually.
Jordan, what, if anything, do you feel like you guys left on the field on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think, like we said, we got off to a really great start. First half was dominant. I think second half, wasn't as good. Wasn't up to the standard in some areas. I think, we would have wanted to go out there and keep putting points up. And I think it might have been the first drive we had 3 and out. So, we just something to build on right there. We got off to a hot start and got a lead, but second half is when you got to go out there and put a team away. So I think we left a little bit on the table second half and a couple plays I wish we can get back, but good stuff to build on for sure.
There you go. Jordan Love talking to the media. Let's do this. We'll break away. We'll talk a little bit about what he had to say. We got a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. And don't forget, all of our guests appear on the Schneider Big Orange Hotline. Go to SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com, or simply 844-PRIDE. That's 844-PRIDE. Then all you got to do is type in your zip code. And don't forget, being a truck driver doesn't mean being on the road for weeks at a time. At Schneider, drivers get home daily, multiple times a week, or weekly, whatever works for you and your lifestyle. See how you can maybe start or upgrade your driving career right now at Schneider by going to SchneiderJobs.com or calling a recruiter right now. 844-PRIDE. That's 844-PRIDE. Get the benefits you deserve. Go to SchneiderJobs.com or call them 844-PRIDE.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf, before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply as 9/3/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah.
Welcome back.
Oh, no, I get a good feeling.
The Michael Show. We continue on. Hey, our friends over at Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, they not only have great events and food at night, they are open for lunch, in case you didn't know. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you're out in the Lake Country, you're out in the Pewaukee Lake area, and you want to swing by, Ryan and his staff, they're like, hey, we got good food during the day, too. They open up, I believe, at like 11, and they're serving up lunch. So if you're looking for a place to go, relax, maybe watch, catch up on sports or whatever during the day, get a little conversation, and then head back out, that's a great place to go. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, whether it's watching the boats go in and out on Pewaukee Lake during the day or watching ice fishing going on in the wintertime. It doesn't matter. Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill is a great place for the day, for the night, for sports, for charity events. They always have something going on. That's Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, Pewaukee Lake, Lakeview Boulevard in Pewaukee. They have got a vast menu. Check out Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill. There you go. So just kind of going through some of all this stuff real quick. I wanted to get into a lot of the things that, Jordan Love had to say. And one of the things, this is out of the, this is off of the email inbox, and this is from Troy. Troy says, hey, Unit, do you think that he is the guy? There was a lot of questions coming into the season as to whether or not Jordan Love is the guy. I keep hearing people talk about him being a top 5 talent. Why do not more people talk about his talent in throwing the football and being the Green Bay Packers quarterback? Is it because he is not named Rodgers? No, I think he's not. He doesn't say anything that's controversial. He doesn't get that level of coverage. He will now with Micah Parsons in the building. But I think he's got he's vanilla. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not being negative. But he's not Rodgers. Favre used to wax nostalgic about all kinds of crap. And everybody listened to Favre. You'll get to that level eventually. Not to the depth of, say Rodgers, the way he's so pointed at what he says and when he says it and who he's targeting and all that kind of stuff. But Jordan Love, this is the double-edged sword. Jordan Love, on one hand, the coaches want him to be outspoken. They want him to be that leader. They want him to be the demanding guy. Okay, you get there first, you go through your reads, you look at your film, you know it better than anybody. You are calling out guys who don't know it. Wrong place, wrong time, damn it, you got to get on the same page with me. That's your responsibility. If you don't do it here, I can't trust you, yada, 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 okay? But also to be that leader sending messages out of the locker room at times to guys in the locker room, right? Because then when Jordan Love says something like, hey, we got to be better on this. He's already talked to the offensive line about getting better, or the receivers about getting better, or the run game about getting better, or the play calling to get into more of a rhythm, or whatever. He's already done that. They've already discussed it. But it's letting everybody know, hey, it's out there, being that type of. But then when he says things like that, and then we're all paying attention to it, we're talking about it, we're harping on it, then it can be that focus of distraction, we'll say. As Rodgers used to do on a positive note, the RELAX. On a negative note, when he came back after a little bit of I'm not coming in right away, and the possibility of being traded during that Jordan Love draft, where he came in and vetted all the problems with the organization. You don't treat us right. I want this. I want that. I want respect. I want to be a part of this. I want to be notified. Then it became to the negative side. But everybody listened. It's all people were talking about. Remember that? So it's a double-edged sword. He's vanilla. He doesn't demand you talk about him. He's unassuming in that sense.
I also think plenty of people talk about him, not like on the level of Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, but plenty of people talk about Jordan Love's arm talent. And I think because he's in Green Bay, there's a certain belief. Like if Jordan Love was in, I don't know, Carolina, like I don't know that he'd be talked about quite the same. He's got that big brand attached to him. People don't talk about him as an MVP or a guy who's going to win MVP, but for a guy who's won one playoff game and started for 2 years, I think he gets plenty of love on television and radio.
Let's go back when he went on that run. When he went on that run in his first year under center, when he went on that run where he was just on fire, and people were talking about him then. I mean, that whole next year, they discussed whether or not he would be an MVP candidate, and they're doing it already this year to a certain extent.
You know how many people I heard on their podcast or on television yesterday say, well, if Jordan Love plays like that, the Packers are a Super Bowl team.
Right. That's
how good they can be. Right. So I think Jordan Love, for the amount of time he's been in the league, and he's won one playoff game, which was a great performance, but it's not like he's been on multiple deep runs. I think he's talked about plenty. I think people recognize his talent and what he could be still, his potential.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. I think what people want is you're looking for a level of respect, maybe, for the Packers, that because you as a fan want that. And I don't blame you. Look, I get it. You want to kind of be thought of in that light, because with more attention, that means you have more success. And we're greedy for success. We want more. We're already talking about 2 wins and then looking down the road at 4 wins before the buyer. But you can make a case for that, but you want it. You want it now. So you want to keep the euphoric feeling going. And the more people that are talking in a positive light about Jordan Love, the more belief that you have that he's the guy, he's the quarterback, he could be the next Hall of Famer, that they've hit on 3 straight and yada, yada, yada. So I get it, but it'll come. If he keeps the interceptions to a minimum, continues to drop dimes, he had the best downfield passer rating of all quarterbacks this weekend. I don't know if anybody knew that, but he had the best 10-yard or 20-yard or more. I can't remember what the statistic was, but the best quarterback rating of a certain level downfield of any quarterback in the National Football League this weekend. He'll get it. He'll get it. If he plays really well and this team continues to win, everybody loves the Packers. They love to talk about the Packers. They've now got bigger than life character in Micah Parsons to talk about the Packers. I saw more Packers coverage in the last 2 days than we had seen going into the season. They're always there. Oh, by the way, there's the Packers, but they haven't won the division in the last couple of years. They've been playoff bound. They've been somewhat exciting to watch, but they haven't been great. They haven't had that level of greatness. Now they bring in a great player in Micah Parsons, and now you're looking for Jordan Love to live up to the expectation this season that many seem to have in his breakout 3rd year, which is the reason they made the trade for Micah Parsons. So I don't have a problem with it. And I'd rather, to be honest with you, I'd rather fly a little under the radar. I'd rather fly a little under the radar right now. And then all of a sudden, all the hype come in and begin to take over that team. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think the Packers were the number 1 story from the weekend. A good judge of that is, when the 3:30 game ends, you put on Football Night in America. What's the lead story?
Yep.
Everyone wanted to talk about Micah Parsons and the Packers and Jordan Love and a couple of the big throws that he made. So I sometimes bristle when people say, well, the national media never talks about. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they talk about Jordan Love a lot. The national media have talked about the Brewers a lot this summer, too. How many clips have we played from MLB Network talking about the way the Brewers have built the things? So also who cares? Like, who cares if they're talking about the Packers on Get Up? I don't care.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's, again, if they continue to win, it's going to come, because I think the world, short of the rivals, I think the world salivates for the Green Bay Packers to be successful because of their structure, because of how they are or aren't owned, and people root for the underdog, a little town that, is the smallest media market in all of professional sports. I think a lot of people look to that to say, okay, if they're back, they're relevant. They appreciate that. So I get it. But I don't think he's disrespected. I think right now you're just waiting for him to string together. Put it this way. If they beat the Commanders and they beat Cleveland and they're going into Dallas with Micah Parsons going back to Big D at 3-0, looking to go 4-0 before the bye, and Dallas, say, reels off 3 more wins, and Dallas is 3-1 after the more impressive performance than I thought a lot of people were going to give them credit for in that game against Philadelphia, and it looks like it's really starting to match up, and Jerry is saying, see, I told you so, and all that kind of stuff. You don't think that's going to be the story of the week for that entire hype week going into that game? Oh, my goodness. It'll be Packer overload, and for Packers fans, it'll be great. It'll be great. Hey, I want to let you know we got our friends from Marinette, Wisconsin. I'm going to be up there in November, the beginning of November, end of October. We're going to be there for basically Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. Blues, Brews, and BBQs in Marinette, Wisconsin. They got obviously blues bands, featuring the Hall of Fame blues musicians, Joe Moss and Mike Wheeler, and their bands are going to be there. They're going to have some beverages, which are awesome, but they're going to have 5 different pitmasters competing for the best barbecue, for award-winning barbecue. And you got VIP tickets that are on sale for $30, which includes, by the way, some really good rates on hotels up there if you decide to come from another part of the state. Also, if you want just general admission tickets, are $20. But if you want more information, go to Fish On, and you like this, Grant, fishonmarinette.com. Fishonmarinette.com up in Marinette, Wisconsin. We're actually going to do a live show up there. I think they're completing the details, but I think we're taking the Bill Michaels show to Marinette, Wisconsin. I think we're going to broadcast from the lodge. People have been trying to get us up there and go to the lodge for a long time, for like 2 years, I think, a year at least. But we're going to go to Marinette, Wisconsin. I think we're doing a live broadcast. We're kind of settling the details right now. But for all the details for the Blues, Brews, and BBQs, fishonmarinette.com. That is fishonmarinette.com. And we will see you I love Marinette, Wisconsin. It's been probably a decade since we've been back. I can't wait to go, short of going to Forgotten Fire Winery up there. But going to be in Marinette, Wisconsin. Cannot wait. Go to fishonmarinette.com.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Give me first impressions of what you saw yesterday in Green Bay.
It was really cool. Obviously, Michael Parsons had an impact on the field. He seemed to energize everyone around him, and that includes the offense, especially in the first half. And I think most important, what his presence signified in the building and to the stadium and Packer fan community at large was what struck me most. It's just so uncharacteristic of the Packers for decades now to go out and take a big swing like this. And you can tell that the fact that they've broken that pattern has excited a lot of people.
Yesterday on the program, that was Michael Silver for The Athletic, a longtime NFL writer, columnist, and he is not wrong. Not wrong at all by the excitement in town. This portion of the program brought to you by MIBA, MEBA. M is a Michael, MIBA, MEBA, Industrial Bearings, right there in Grafton, Wisconsin. And if you're thinking about maybe if you're a CNC machinist or you're just looking for a good company to go to, they are hiring, and you can search for them on Indeed. Search MIBA, Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin, 262-337-2210, 262-337-2210. But again, search them on Indeed, MIBA, Industrial Bearings in Grafton, Wisconsin. And as a matter of fact, they just had a chamber thing up there. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, something like that. And there was Kristen goes to those, and somebody that knew Kristen and I said they went to work for MEBA and said, "Man, this is it's a great company. Thanks for letting us know about it." So it was like my pleasure. So there you go, good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. I'll get back to the text messages coming up here momentarily. Dwayne in Oshkosh, first out of the chute. Dwayne, how you doing today, man? What's happening?
I tell you, Bill, that was fun on Sunday, wasn't it?
That was a blast to witness. And you know what was cool? There was never really a moment in which you thought, okay, this thing's going to get away from them. Like they had it in control pretty much beginning to end.
Yeah, it was a statement game. It was like, as Monty Python would say, and now for something completely different.
Right.
I'll tell you a couple of things. You watch football kind of the same way that I do. It starts with the big uglies in the box. And I don't know if Jordan, did they touch his jersey? I don't know. I didn't remember them Detroit guys being around there too much. It looked like he could have had tea and crumpets in the middle and nobody would have bothered him while he was doing it.
He had a long time in the pocket on Sunday to basically be able to do what he wanted and to have reads the way he would like. And, absolutely. I think there was like two, because Aiden Hutchinson ran him out one time, and I think it was Muhammad. I think he had like a couple of quarterback like hurries is what they call them, the way I charted it. I remember a couple of them, but beyond that, he didn't get sacked. He didn't go down once.
No, and he didn't have to do what modern quarterbacks do all the time. They feel any bit of pressure, and it's like, oh, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's not the way you play quarterback.
Right.
When I was doing this up in Green Bay many years ago, Lynn Dickey had a great line, 3 seconds is too late. 1,001, 1,002, that ball's got to be gone.
Right.
Got to be gone.
Yep.
Just some other quickie things. They stuck with the running game, even though it wasn't going anywhere, but eventually got somewhere, and it also set up some other things they were doing. I love that. I love Jacob saying, I don't care about how many yards I'm blocking. And did you see, he was more excited about the blocks he made than when he did early in his running, which is just team all the way.
Speaking of that, there was one time Anzalone came on a blitz, and if he didn't pick up Anzalone, Jordan Love might be eating soup through a straw, because Anzalone was full bore, and he had a hell of a block on Anzalone. So there's more to being a running back than just grabbing the football and going.
That's exactly the case, and this guy's an all-rounder. 31 has already made our secondary special teams that much better. I mean, every time there was a team on special teams, it was 31, the new guy.
Right.
He is really good. I like to see Dobbs smiling, laughing, pointing, and having emotion. That was really special.
Yeah.
And Micah, what do you say about Micah Parsons? 19 miles an hour by the time he gets to the quarterback. My son texted me from New York, and all he said was, a lion pursuing a deer.
Yeah, what's funny was I had broken that. I tweeted it out, the Micah Parsons effect, and that was what I said on that on the Williams interception. They used that today on ESPN. That's the exact play and the exact context. It's like they grabbed it and went, oh, I got to pay attention to this. Not to say that they're following me, but it was the exact breakdown of the play to say look, don't screw the sack. Get away from the sack. Look at the effect he's having on this team already, watching Williams get a pick, because here comes Micah Parsons. And then they said in parentheses on the screen, the Micah Parsons effect. That's exactly what I was saying. I mean, there's so many things that he can do, that he presents, that isn't just statistical when it comes to sacks, tackles, and all that kind of stuff. It is a presence that he has on the field.
You know, Bill, that when Reggie was here, offensive coordinators had to say, how do we keep this guy from wrecking our game?
Yep.
That's what they're going to be saying now when this guy's on the field. Look at the emphasis that Van Ness's game had.
Right.
I mean, just his game alone, and then everybody else around him. And I don't know if you heard the story, but it was the greatest story. Was they're going to come out of the locker room onto the field with a big entrance, and usually the last defensive guy is 52.
Yeah.
And they told, they said, no, it's going to be Micah. And he said to Micah Parsons, this ain't Dallas.
Right.
When you get out there, the ground's going to shake.
Right. And he felt it.
He felt it all game.
Yeah.
So now we got to look out for these guys coming in. Not only do they have a great quarterback, I think they ran for 220 last Sunday. They can really run the football.
Yes, they can.
We got to this would be a better test for the Kenny Clark-less line. And by the way,
but they got Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery are no slouches. They're fantastic. Here's the thing. What I thought was so impactful out of that Packers defense was the gang tackling. I mean, it was one person being pursued by a gang. It was like he's running into a dark alley, had nowhere to go, and the gang was running down the alley to just beat the hell out of this guy. That was the Green Bay Packers mentality in the tackling the ball carrier this past Sunday. I thought it was fantastic.
It looked like the female fans at an Elvis concert in Las Vegas in the 70s. I mean, just But don't forget, Detroit's got two, brand new boys.
Yeah,
and we really took advantage of them.
Yeah,
big time.
They beat them.
But it was a great win. Great win. As always, Bill. Great show.
Appreciate it, bud. Talk to you soon. There you go. He drops off. You get on board. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. We'd love to hear from you again. 877-867-1670. Got some text messages to get to as well. As many of you chiming in. Good morning. Based on last night out of the 920, what are your way too early NFC North standing predictions? I was personally not impressed by either team last night. I think the Lions rebound and compete with the Packers for the division this year. This means Thanksgiving is probably going to be the Packers' most important game in the regular season. Thanks, Jacob, in Beaufort, South Carolina. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Beaufort. I don't know about where Beaufort is, but now I'm glad. Thanks, Jacob. I'm going to stick with what I stated for right now. I'm not going to, again, way too early to react, but I'm still going to say pound for pound, they got one hell of a team. You got the Lions when you needed to get them. You got your confidence back. You got your swagger back. You got home field, or not home field, but you at least established a little bit more of that home field mystique of Lambeau Field. You don't have it back yet. You've been beaten there far too often, but you started climbing back out of that hole. That was the first rung of the ladder. Okay. I'm going to stay with the Lions, maybe by a game, and then the Packers, and then the Vikings, and then the Bears. I got to be honest. That defense of the Vikings is real. If McCarthy continues to mature and figures it out, that's still going to be an extremely tough team. They got beef up front, and they fly after the football and after the quarterback. They can get it done. So I'm going to stick with that. I think the Bears just aren't ready yet. I think it's going to be a few growing pains this year, but I still think they're a good team. Out of the 815, don't forget the Bears always win the offseason, and it stops there. LOL. I would agree with that. Ryan of Manitowoc says, what do you think is more important, the players or the coach? I always think that when Brady left New England and went to Tampa, who was the one who drove the success? Brady, when he went to Tampa, also had good players around him. For example, Montana and Elway. If you would take Montana off the 49ers and put him on the Broncos, would he have won a Super Bowl in the 80s? Elway's always had them in the playoffs, but never was able to win and get over the top until he got Terrell Davis and Mike Shanahan. I think it all has to be a perfect storm. I really do. Good players and good coaching will get you there. Coaches will put you in the right place at the right time to make plays. It's up to the players then to execute it. Good players, great players have that extra sense, that instinct that puts them even in better position to make plays. But I don't think one goes without the other. The only time, you can look at probably a few teams in history, right? I think Ditka was perfect for the Bears. He brought the mentality to that defense, and he brought the mentality to that team. And because he was so hard and so strict, they bucked so hard against that. But ultimately, they came together. You take Andy Reid. Great players, but Andy Reid was the right guy to bring them all together. But you can't look at a team. I think, Brian Billick was the right guy with that incredible defense they had in Baltimore years ago with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and everybody that they had. You look at what Chuck Noll had. Was Chuck Noll a great coach? Most would say absolutely yes, but he also had Bradshaw and Lynn Swann and Mean Joe Green and Rocky Blyer. And you can go through that whole list of all those guys that they had on that team that were inspirational. They all got together and they were all different, kind of facets of caricatures. You look at a team like the Big Red Machine. When I grew up in Cincinnati, they were fantastic. Those players, most say they could have won a championship on their own. Sparky Anderson had a way of kind of cracking the whip at the right time and the right plays. The question's always been, would Michael Jordan and the Bulls have been as successful if they just had any other coach? Some would say yes. Guys on that team would say no. I've always thought that the Celtics with Kevin Garnett won a championship because all those guys were veterans. They just knew what to do. They did it in spite of Doc Rivers. Some of those guys behind closed doors will say, no, Doc was really instrumental in kind of pushing the right buttons. Coaches can bring certain things to the table, but it all has to come together in the right place at the right time. You know? Let's see here. Rock and Rick says, Kate is more like Marilyn Monroe singing Happy Birthday. Not certain if that's the famous one or not. Yes, which it is. She was singing Happy Birthday to John F. Kennedy, the president. Cody from Cochran, I'll say this about the Bears. It doesn't matter who you throw under center. That team just sucks as an organization. Steve and Nina, I agree with you, Bill, about the Brewers that the division is over. I mean, the magic number is down to 11. Though they lost last night, they still managed to drop the magic number and clinch the division to 11 because the Cubs lost as well. Are you concerned about the hitting? Because they have not really been tearing up the baseball and coming up with clutch hits that they were coming up before. So does that concern you at all? They're still winning. No, their record is not sub 500 or anything like that. It's closer to 500 since they got out of the win streak. But no, I'm not concerned because they still battle. And put it this way, also some of the balls that were falling before aren't falling right now because they're hitting the ball hard. Grant talked about it earlier. Look at Yelich last night. He had a base knock. He was 1 for 4, but there were 2 other times he hit smoking ropes. Those things begin to fall. 877-867-1670. Hit us up, 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. We would love to hear from you. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. We will be back right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 9/30/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Tomorrow night, one more time. Wednesday Night Live back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. It's the final Wednesday Night Live because July 16th was rained out. Bella Kane takes the stage tomorrow night. Looks like it's going to be a nice night, too. Nice night tomorrow night. One more Wednesday Night Live at the Wisconsin State Fair Park, and then sadly, they shut it down. They open up a little bit during Harvest Fair, but that's the extent of it. And then the summer concert series of Wednesday Night Live at the Wisconsin State Fair Park for 2025 comes to an end. I'm sad because you know me. If you follow me and listen to me, you know I'm all about summer. I'm all about all the fun and frivolity that goes on. And I love fall. I love football. I love our Christmas party, all that kind of stuff. There's always something to look forward to, but I love summer. And to see Wednesday Night Live coming to an end, oh, makes me breathe heavy. It's one more time around the sun, and it's one more year that I have closer to death. So I'm sad. I'm sad to see Wednesday Night Live go. But hey, the Third Ward Beard Garden at Catalano Square down in the Third Ward of Milwaukee is still open for a while. So get down there and check that out. They still have some music, some acoustic jams and such. But yeah, one more Wednesday Night Live. Tomorrow night, the Bud Pavilion. For all the information, go to budpavilion.com. That's budpavilion.com. There you go. We have another hour yet to go. Today has flown by. So hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. God, I love what I do. It's flown by. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more. Of the Bill Michaels Show. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Wisconsin gearing up for its toughest task so far this season as they get ready to face number 19 Alabama in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. It'll be just the second game the Badgers have played in the state of Alabama and the first true road game against an SEC school in 53 years. Whether they'll have their starting quarterback remains to be seen. Billy Edwards Jr. missed last week's game against Middle Tennessee State with a knee injury. His status for Saturday up in the air, according to Coach Luke Fickell.
Yeah, I mean, he's throwing the ball around. He's here constantly getting treatments and things like that. I think it's going to be, where he really feels as we get later towards the week, whether it's, we're going to have to protect Billy from himself. I know that at some point in time. I don't know when that is, but he's a guy that's, going to be prepared and always wants to go.
If Edwards can't go, Danny O'Neal will get the start in his place. He threw for 283 yards and a pair of touchdowns last week in his first start. Kick is slated for 11 a.m. Turning the Packers, it's a short week for them as they will host Washington on Thursday night at Lambeau Field. Injuries could play a big role for them, with 13 players on the first injury report yesterday, including a pair of starting offensive linemen. Kick on Thursday night is set for 7:15.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
When a company only does business in Wisconsin, that's Wisconsin Strong. Rural Mutual provides all lines of insurance, including commercial, farm, home, and auto. And your premiums stay right here to keep Wisconsin strong. Local agents, local underwriters, local claims adjusters.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Brewers and Rangers will face off again tonight in Texas. The Rangers took the first game last night in a shutout. Despite that, Brewers' magic number to clinch the NL Central is now down to 11. First pitch tonight is set for 7:05. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Bill Michaels Show. We are back. We are back. I see they're talking about it on the live stream. We'll get into that momentarily. Tucker Kraft, tight end for the Green Bay Packers, you're going to hear coming up. Talk a little Badger football. Bottom of the hour, you were going to get the lowdown on the Bears. The Bears. And we're going to get that. So we got all that coming up here in just a few. So stay tuned. You want to check in? You can. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to text us? 608-321-1670. 608-321-1670. You can get a hold of us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. It's free. Subscribe for free. Please subscribe. It's been great to see the viewership go up, especially at this time of year when we're out doing traveling. We're doing the post-game show live at Burkle's Sports Bar and Grill, although this week we're going to be up in Tomahawk, but all that kind of good stuff. You can always watch the program wherever we're at. Always watch it on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. 3 words, put them all together, and click subscribe. It's absolutely free. You can find us on Twitter, on X, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Find Grant at Wisco Grant. You can track us down on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, under the Bill Michaels Show, if you're an Instagram user or Facebook user, whatever. On the Twitch app, the Kick app, the LinkedIn app as well. You can find us there. On the app that takes us anywhere and everywhere to listen to us, that is Wisco Sports Zone, Wisco Sports Zone. You can also find us via email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website simply thebillmichaels.com. After the fact, you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple iTunes and Google Podcasts and all that kind of stuff. And then we're a television show, don't forget, coming up on Saturday night, 8 o'clock Central Time. You can find us on My24 TV in Milwaukee. My24 TV in Milwaukee. The Don Mikowski thing, I'm getting some emails and such about. And it became public because he was cited for, what was the citing? For disturbance or disturbing the peace or something like that, or drunken disorderly. I can't remember what the charge was that the police cited him for. But the video is out there. It is not a good look. But Grant, you and I kind of talked a little bit about this. You know, the argument was basically that it was jealousy from some college kids that he was a football player. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That was the quote from the story. Yeah. And I had some friends who were at the bar who texted me.
Now let's preface this. Okay. For those that don't know, Grant and I knew about this like as it was happening. You texted me because your friends were texting you. Like, can you believe this? They were actually at the bar.
Yeah, up in Eau Claire.
Right.
And it's disorderly conduct. But the quote from the story, and I was reading WEAU, the quote was something like, the men in the bar were jealous because their girlfriends were into him because he was a former NFL quarterback or something like that.
I don't know. But the bottom line is there was, how do I put this gently and be kind? There was a lot of imbibing going on in some way, shape, or form on Don's part. Correct me if I'm wrong. He was not sober when this happened.
No.
Yeah. To say he was, I mean, some have said he was hammered. I wasn't there, but a lot of people that have video and that have talked about it, and your friends were saying he was hammered. He was lit up pretty good. And it's just not a good look. That's because this is a guy who was literally being drug out of a bar by patrons and security to throw him into the parking lot. You got to figure, if this was a bar owner that said, hey, guys, back off, like if the girls were into him, nobody's going to let him be beat up and drug out of a bar because girls are talking to him. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Now, maybe some of their boyfriends or something might get a little jealous, but usually the bar owner's like, hey, guys, knock it off. They're more willing to protect the player and the stature of that guy than they are to the random patrons, just because he's a Packer. In this state, Packers reign supreme. So, you hate to see Don Mikowski drug out of a bar and thrown into the gutter for this, but a lot of people are like, no, this guy was hammered.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. Is he's just way too drunk, and people do stupid things when they're drunk. I don't buy for a second that boyfriends were jealous, and I mean this with all due, because Don Mikowski kind of gets buried. He kind of started the revival of the Packers right before Favre got there. He was pretty darn good. But you're in a college bar with kids who just got back to school at UW Eau Claire. They're probably 21. A lot of those kids probably barely remember Favre.
Right.
Like, I don't think a lot of those kids are like, Jesus, is that Don Mikowski? Like, I don't buy that was happening.
There was, now this story was breaking Saturday night, Sunday morning, when it came to the citation being given and his court date and everything. So there was quite a few people that were talking about it. And there was a couple, because remember, it was alumni weekend in Green Bay. There was a couple of people that I ran into, we started talking about it, and they went, he's having problems. Meaning Don Mikowski. He's having problems. And I said, what do you mean? And now I'll say this, I'm privy to information too that I know that people have, very, very specific people have told me that the alcohol abuse and whatever it is, whether it's the painkillers or whatever, is out of control. And I hope he gets help. But there was a couple of people that said, yeah, he's having a hard time not being recognized anymore either. So he's the first one to tell you who he is. This was a quote from one of the former players up there this past weekend that said, yeah, Don's going to walk through a bar and he's going to be the first one to tell you who he is. He's having trouble. And so there was a lot of, there was a lot of, nobody was surprised. Let's put it that way. Nobody was surprised that actually happened this past, a couple weekends ago. Cause like I said, you had the video of it a while ago. But yeah, you hope this is the embarrassing moment and the kick in the pants to say, I need to go get some help. I need to go through some rehab or something, because this is not the first time that the overserved has been asked to leave. Let's put it that way. So anyway, but yes, I've seen it. It's out there, because people are saying, why aren't we talking about it? It's just because to you and I, Grant, it's old hat, because you're from Eau Claire. For people that didn't know, Grant's from there and he's got friends there. And his friend was actually at the bar taking a video of all of this as it was happening. So, and then when you sent it to me, I'm like, what was my first words? Same thing as the guy said. Wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
It's sad. Wow. To watch him being drug out by patrons. It's sad, but I wasn't surprised, because I know somebody that has basically said, I can't deal with him anymore because of the drinking. So I know that firsthand from what a person has told me when I said, hey, why aren't you working with Don and all this stuff anymore? And he said, I can't handle it. He's hammered all the time. So hopefully he gets back and he does some good things. Who knows? Good things, though. Let's speak about this. Good things coming out of the Packers locker room, and that is the fact that they got a win on Sunday. And I'll tell you this, Romeo Doubs looked energized. He caught that long 42-yard pass over the middle, came down with it, looked all fired up. Right after that, they get a 17-yard strike over to Jaden Reed in a corner route, which was fantastic. But two guys that are beginning to emerge, and I think you're going to see him really begin to take off. The shame of it is there's two guys fighting for the football. not fighting each other, but they both are quality guys. Luke Musgrave came on towards the end of camp, and Tucker Kraft established himself when Musgrave wasn't there last year as a go-to guy with good hands and has the ability to get open. After the game, Tucker Kraft had this to say. Take a listen.
Getting off to a fast start. You guys are able to do that in game 1, week 1. That's got to feel good, right?
It does. It shows we can do it. We can get into rhythm early.
Tucker, do you talk your big catch? Do you talk about the route, the catch, everything that goes into that?
Yeah, I mean, it happened real fast. I just saw split safeties. I knew I had to intersect them. There was just some slowness on the get off line of scrimmage. I had a D lineman stacked over top of me, so it just all those things just happen so fast. You know how it is, Larry, being a player. But go ahead.
I know you kind of thrive on the rough stuff too, but at the end of the day, you guys out physical a physical team, a real physical team that prides himself on. You guys out physical. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, Dan Campbell, he does a great job with those guys. He's a real players coach. They'll follow him anywhere. It did feel like today that we had the upper hand on the physicality side of things, but it was just that we were able to play in both phases in the run and pass so well. Early in the first half, maybe not so great in the run game, but we were just sending the ball downfield. It didn't matter.
In the run game, quantity becomes quality. Josh Jacobs goes in standing up on the goal.
Exactly. He did the business. He did his work when it mattered, and we came out on top because of it.
We talk about getting a strong start or a fast start to a game, but how important is it to get it off to a fast start to the season, especially with Washington, another playoff team coming in here in 4 days?
Yeah, absolutely. Another team in the NFC, we're going to have to make sure that we take care of business. They got great players on their defense as well. Frankie Luvu, they have great edge rushers there now that they required in the offseason. So we're just going to have to, extend upon our abilities that we showed today, that we can keep the quarterback safe in the pocket.
In your first offensive drive, 2 offensive drives today, it comes 9 different guys touch the ball. And that's got to confuse the defenses. Even Savion's getting jet speed. That's got to confuse them. Or the tight end getting jet speed.
Yeah, I didn't go very far on that one, but it's just having multitudes to our sets, whether we're in 12 personnel, 13 personnel, 21, 2 backs, just being able to put the defense in consternation, stretching the field with 2 running backs still in, while also, showing in those same sets a lot of run threats.
What do you do with the head coach today, or taking off helmets?
It's just to play in this division. That's the North for you. All 4 teams already come compete every single day.
Sorry, we've already been asked before, but in terms of fast starts, you guys knew the importance of it. How are you able to get off such a fast start in that first half?
It was just us taking care of Jordan. He was making a lot of. Honestly, it was a lot of the play calls are coming in great. This week we really focused on making up for some mistakes we made in the past. So really just getting an opportunity to come out here and reset and retry. And like you said, we came out swinging. We started real fast.
Tucker, when you see the tape of this today, the pocket was clean. He had time back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said that already. That's a credit to, when we're in 6-man protections with Josh Jacobs in the O-line, they were doing great today.
Have you ever had your helmet ripped off like that during the sideline?
I have not. That is the first for me. Yes.
It just comes with the trippiness of both these teams.
Yeah, the elite level of play in the NFC North, week to week, it's going to be a battle. We just get so used to playing each other too. We just know how people are going to react to things. Last year, he found himself in an ejection situation, and Matt emphasized early in the week that the squad, they're going to come in here, and we just have to remain composed in situations like that. And I just let him toss my helmet. So
you always seem like you have big moments against this team, or some moments against this team. What is it about playing against the Lions? I guess I want to say special, but what is it about playing those guys especially?
Yeah, you just I'm not saying you necessarily rise to the level of your competition, but when you have an opportunity to play a team as good as the Lions, and it's physical, that brings, another level of not necessarily aggression, but you feel more tuned up. Yeah.
I didn't see the ones on your offense getting many snaps together in this camp, and then go to joint practice and the quarterback in the camp practice. So, the way you guys pulled this together in the last 10 days, those practices crisp. I mean, any of you surprised by?
Yeah, we had this last week. We had great energy at practice. We were able to doing a great job communicating out there. Regardless of the fronts they had, a lot of multiples in their pressure packages. So it was just, it was just smooth.
When the offense is clicking like that, especially against a team like the Lions, just what does that do for your guys' confidence as you have a short week?
Yeah, it definitely creates a lot of momentum. And when we're able to score a touchdown fast, we can get the offense off the field. So, we're not necessarily, that first drive was like 12 plays. I was huffing and puffing after that, but then we also had a drive that was 2 plays. So just getting the opportunity to score points fast, that's critical.
What does that do for the momentum too when you see Rashawn and Micah and Lucas and all of them taking them out on defense as well?
Yeah, getting the Lions offense in 3rd and long is critical, because in those 3rd and short situations, they're going to run the ball. And then on 4th and short, they're going to run the ball or pass it, as we've seen today. They were still successful in some of those attempts, but ultimately our defense did a great job.
Today you had your pass to run ratio.
Yep, there you go. That's Tucker Kraft. I think the microphones kind of fell by the wayside, but Tucker Kraft and what he did in that game against Detroit, and obviously, he talked about playing not to the level, up to the level of your competition, but they were loaded, man. They were loaded. He had a solid game on Sunday afternoon, without a doubt. I'm going to take a break, come back. I want to talk a little Badgers, bottom of the hour. Going to get into the expose that is showing you behind the scenes in Chicago. Behind the scenes via the Bears in Chicago. And things aren't good when it comes to Caleb Williams. Now, maybe they're going to turn around with Ben Johnson in town, the new sheriff, but things have not been good. Hey, things that are good, Tuesday night bike night is still on for Suburban Harley-Davidson out there at Wayne's Drive-In. Tonight, if you're out cruising around and you got a motorcycle, you want to head out, beautiful night tonight. Wayne's Drive-In up there in Five Corners in Cedarburg. It's brought to you by our friends at Suburban Harley-Davidson. They've got all kinds of things they give away. They have DJs and stuff, and it's a good gathering. It's a really, really good gathering from a really good company, been in business over 50 years, family-owned, community-minded. If you're still looking maybe for an end-of-season deal, there you go, Suburban Harley-Davidson. If you're looking to get your bike, say, winterized and stored later this season, there's another place. That's Suburban Harley-Davidson. They've got on-site and off-site storage. They can take care of you. For all the information, go to suburbanharley.com. That is suburbanharley.com. And if you want to call out there, ask for Todd. Todd's the GM, the overseer for the property, for the family, for the dealership. 262-242-2464. 262-242-2464. Ask for Todd. That's the guy that makes the deals. Suburbanharley.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply as 9/3/2025.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I talk about it all the time. People know that. I love Calderon Club, love San Giorgio. But a listener, and his name is Don. Don lives in Manitowoc and came down to a Brewers game a couple of weeks ago. Don says, we decided to stop at Calderon Club. We hear you talk about it all the time. We listen to you 4 hours, and he says, thank God you're on all 4 hours now on WDUZ. Best Italian food my wife and I have ever had. What an incredible night. And Alex, the waiter, as you recommended, he has in parentheses, was so special and so wonderful to us. We can't say enough about it and can't say thank you enough for telling us about Calderon Club. We had a window seat. It was magnificent. And then he's got 5 stars at the end of his email. Don, thank you so much. Because again, I can talk about it and tell you how great it is, but unless you try it and then agree with me, it doesn't matter. But man, Calderon Club, fantastic. Best Italian food. So award-winning spaghetti and meatballs. They've got the great thin crust pizza. But next door, San Giorgio, which is it's Italian, but it's a whole different style of menu and different style of pizza. Pizzeria Napolitana, certified out of Napoli, Italy. So both places great. 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee, and there ain't nothing better. I'm telling you right now, ain't nothing better. I just absolutely, positively love the place. As a matter of fact, I got friends coming to town that are going to the Badger Ohio State game, and they're staying in Waukesha, so they can go specifically there because a buddy of mine hears me talk about it all the time. He's like, I got to go. He's Italian. His family's Italian. He wants to try it. So he's like, that's where we're going. I said, okay, we're good to go. So when they come to town, we want to go there too. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? By all means, let's do it. Find us. Let's see here. Mark said from lacrosse says, hey, Bill, I agree with you on the text line. If you want to text us 608-321-1670, I agree with you when it comes to Jordan Love. We had enough of Rodgers and everything revolving around him. I'm very content with Love just flying under the radar right now. That's why Love's going to get his. He'll get his recognition. You just got to go back to winning games. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You just got to go back to winning games. This one's from Anthony. He says, how big of a win would it be if the Badgers go into Tuscaloosa and pull one off, considering this is no longer the Nick Saban Roll Tide? It's a huge win. It would be a huge win. Not because DeBoers is on the hot seat and, Alabama fans are jumping out the window at this point, but it's still Alabama. It's still a respectable team. It is still a team that, last year you didn't beat. If you go into Tuscaloosa and you get a win, I would think there's your signature win. Now, if they go on to lose every game the rest of the season, it probably doesn't mean as much. I get it. But they're not. They're not going to do that. They're still going to end up second, third, maybe in the SEC before it's all said and done. Me personally, I think it would be a huge win. Grant, don't you think if they go into Tuscaloosa and they get a win, it would be a massive win for them?
Yeah, it would be their biggest win in, God, I don't know.
Five,
I can remember.
7, 8 years.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, it would be huge.
Maybe since they beat Ohio State, what was that, in 2008 when Gilreath took the opening kickoff? I don't even remember what year. That's how long it's been. Yeah.
It's right. It's been a long time. But it would be a huge win if they got it. And like I said, if Alabama loses every game the rest of the season, then it doesn't mean as much. I get it. But it would be huge. It would be huge if they they went into Tuscaloosa and got that win. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. Alabama right now 1-1 on the season, and obviously with Wisconsin coming in. And by the way, that's an 11 o'clock kickoff, a nationally televised game on ABC. That game is, so the whole world's going to witness it. They ended up getting beat by Florida State, and people wanted DeBoers killed. They came back last week, played University of Louisiana Monroe, and they beat the hell out of that team. They racked up 73 on them to prove a point. The only thing that you can look forward to in this particular game, well, one, obviously, the defense has played well. They've only given up, 13 points all season long or 14 points all season long. But the offense started to click in the second half of that game. Now, Wisconsin's going in there as an underdog. Most Wisconsin fans aren't believing in this team yet. You don't know what to think. But Alabama, the following week, I take that back 2 weeks because they got an early bye. It's a weird schedule for them because they have 2 weeks to prepare. So if you're Kevin DeBoers, you're sitting there thinking, keep these guys focused because in 2 weeks, number 6, Georgia. They play in Georgia. And that's the game that everybody's talking about. Man, you get Georgia, then you can roll. Then you can redeem yourself from the Florida State loss at Florida State to start the season. Because then you're back, So they're all talking about that as if Wisconsin is an afterthought. So if their focus is Georgia, 2 weeks down the road, 2.5 weeks down the road right now, then the Badgers could catch them at a really good time. And if the Badgers can put anything together offensively, there we go. So, but yeah, it would be a big win if they could go into Tuscaloosa and get a win. I'm not going to knock them at all. They don't have an easy schedule by any stretch. I'll tell you that right now, because they've got number 6 Georgia, then they've got Vanderbilt at home, then they go to number 25 Missouri, come home to number 15 Tennessee, go on the road to number 11 South Carolina, then they get at home number 3 LSU, number 13 Oklahoma. Then they get an Eastern Cupcake in Eastern Illinois, and then they go on the road for the Iron Bowl for number 24 Auburn. I mean, they play a gauntlet. That's why you kind of hope that they're just looking at Wisconsin going, go away. We're going to beat you. We're going to dominate you. Go away. We're worried about Georgia. You're kind of hoping for that. And maybe you walk into Tuscaloosa and you surprise them a little bit. So there you go. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. Going to hear what's going on down there behind the scenes in the Windy City in a 3-part series on golongtd.com. That is golongtd.com, where our buddy Tyler Dunn has been doing kind of an expose on what it was like the last year with Caleb Williams in the house. So you're going to want to hear it when you come back. This portion of the program brought to you by a huge supporter of ours and one of the best partners we've ever had. And that is Marquardt RV, who not only came on board because they wanted to support Big Unit Foundation and everything we do and, get their name out, but also to say, hey, look, we believe in service. And they really, really, truly do, whether it's the buying experience or after the fact. That is our friends at Marquardt RV. They have locations all over the state of Wisconsin, a couple of them over in Minnesota as well. MarquardtRV.com. If you're looking for a Thor motor coach like we have, it's fantastic. Absolutely love it. It's great. If you're looking for a trailer, something to tow behind the vehicle, if you're looking for a fifth wheel, a big Tiffin motor coach, a Jayco, Cruiser RV, Forest River, everything in between, they've got it all. They can make the deals, but more so than anything, they have 100% terrific service. They just treat you like family, and they really want you to know everything on your vehicle because they want you to enjoy everything on your vehicle when you're out there camping and hanging out with the family or the friends or what have you. So get a hold of our friends at Marquardt, MarkQuart, MarquardtRV.com. That is MarquardtRV.com.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hello, everybody. Caleb, it seems that towards the end of the game, a few of your passes started to get away from you. Can you pinpoint the reason for that happening?
I think that just happens sometimes in games and in moments. Just got to reel it back in and go out there and execute. I think we did that on that last drive, or second to last drive that we had. Being able to reel it back in and go out there and complete the ball.
Welcome back. It's that simple. It's that simple. Caleb Williams after the game last night. Welcome back to the program. This portion of it brought to you by J&L Tire and Service Center, saying thank you for voting them the best tire dealer out there. And they right there in Johnson Creek, just north of 94. You can see their sign from 94. You can see it just north. And they have the facilities for 18-wheelers. They have the facilities for the grocery getters, whatever you want to call it, the soccer mom cars, or just dads heading back and forth to whatever. I mean, they've got everything, whether it's major engine repair, an oil change, tires, you name it. Plus their second location right there on Boulder Road in Watertown, Wisconsin. You can check them out again, jnltire.com. That is jnltire.com, jnltire.com. We are efforting our guy Tyler Dunn, who wrote the column in golongtd.com, where you can basically read about Caleb Williams. And again, I don't want to sit here and say that. I guess the term that I would use after reading that was basically he's uncoachable. There's some issues there. And to talk more about it, we now got him on the line. Tyler Dunn from golongtd.com spent some time down in Chicago, a little bit behind the scenes stuff on Caleb Williams and company. Tyler, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Bill. How have you been? Thanks for having me.
Well, you bet. We're doing good. I mean, the Packers won, and they, avenged two losses from last year. You got the Brewers 7.5 games up in the division. Badgers trying to get a win down in Tuscaloosa, but more so than anything, and the Bears, again, choke away, victory to the jaws of defeat. And we watched Caleb Williams just do a lot of the same things he did last year, for lack of a better term. So you tell me, you spent time down in Chicago. What'd you walk away thinking?
Right. I mean, I think that, there's a lot of talent to Caleb Williams. There's improvisation and creativity and everything that we saw at USC when he's winning the Heisman. I don't think any of that can be denied. And if I'm being fully transparent, when I started reporting on this 3-part series we've got up live at golongtd.com, and reaching out to coaches and scouts and players, I'm thinking this is like celebration that, wow, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together, look out. I mean, at one point I talked to his private quarterbacks coach. He's like, this is a perfect storm. And then you learn more and more and more. And you really kind of dig into how things fell apart last season. There was such a narrative that was kind of sped to 100 miles an hour, fed by Caleb himself. And I'm sure it's an excellent book, American King, Seth Wickersham's book coming out, but that report that he was never taught how to watch film. I think that really is what kind of, pissed off a lot of these coaches, that they wanted to explain to the world, to the public, what really went down behind the scenes. And we've got all the specific details that go into it. But I think the big picture takeaway is roles were reversed, right? This wasn't a team interviewing a player for employment into that 2024 draft. It was very much team recruiting player, the first NIL superstar, really. And then when they kind of got Caleb Williams to a place of, okay, like he wants to play for the Chicago Bears, coaches and players too, they could kind of feel it. Like this was somebody that had been coddled behind the scenes and expected to kind of be coddled on the field. It's a fine line because you got to tailor your offense to a quarterback, but the Bears went to such a crazy extreme that it became such a detriment that by the time they wanted to hold him accountable, it was far too late. So, I mean, Ben Johnson's trying his best, man. They got rid of his best friend that was just chilling on the practice squad, who caught 4 or 5 passes at USC. He's gone, and they've got their offense that they want to run. They're not just going to let him do whatever he wants. But can he actually function with this offense? Will he actually watch film and listen to coaches? That takes a level of accountability that I don't know. I don't know if the Bears know if it's in Caleb Williams. We're going to find out.
Well, that was going to be my next question. For everything that's gone on, and you saw glimpses of this. You saw the protection from Lincoln Riley, where he would not allow Caleb Williams to talk to the media and to protect him. And then that was right after the crying incident with his mom on the sideline. And you saw him having meltdowns and problems. And you saw this. And then, this, players will say the tape doesn't lie. And there were things that he did really well. He's uber talented. And there's things that he doesn't do well because he either doesn't see it, doesn't know it, or doesn't understand it because he hasn't either been taught or just because his physical ability, he's always been able to overcome stuff like that. And I thought about that. Like, the NFL's different, man. You can't get away with it. And so now where this accountability level comes in, he's had 3 coaches now in a year and a game. So, I mean, you give him a little bit of a break at this point, but I guess, do you think there's an ability there to be coached?
God, that's the $13 million question that the Bears are banking on here and luring Ben Johnson. I really don't know, because I think you can't just skim past what went down last year. And look, these coaches are not completely blameless. I think that they're the first to admit that they twisted and contorted to an extreme that they shouldn't have. I mean, the count and cutting back on checks and audibles, all this stuff. They dumbed down their offense to such a level where became so predictable. I mean, the offensive line coach, it drove him nuts. He'd clap his hands before the snap. I mean, they're just like teeing off these edge rushers. So, yeah, I mean, I to answer your question, I don't know, because it sounds like Ben Johnson's loading a lot onto his plate. And he's going to want a quarterback to be a Jared Goff point guard, A to B to C to D, make the right reads. Here's 2 plays. If that one looks like it's covered, go to the second play. That kind of stuff, just the Bears did not think. Caleb Williams told the Bears he didn't want to do that stuff, so they took it off his plate last year. Ben Johnson's going to want to do it. Now, I was watching the game. You can see in the preseason too, he doesn't have a wristband on now, so I'm sure they're doing a lot of little things that do help. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as much about X's and O's as it is about just work ethic and want to and all the other stuff besides talent that go into the quarterback position. There's a GM I talked to for the series who said his interview with Caleb Williams was unlike any interview that he's had in his entire life. He couldn't believe it. It didn't seem like this. It wasn't a real interview. From body language to the way he talked, he was kind of aghast. So I don't know if this is a quarterback who does want to pour himself into the profession in ways that everybody else in his class does, because talent alone, it's just not going to get it done long term in the pros.
I've always said, look, talent will get you there. It's what's between your ears and your heart that will actually make you a football player or not. Because we've seen a lot of uber talented guys come into the league and they fail miserably because they just don't get it. They don't have the commitment. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the ability to understand it or the want to understand it. So here's my question, because one of the things that you brought up where he's talking to a coach is trying to talk to him and he just turns his back and walks away. Was there anything that was going to hold him accountable for at least the minimal actions behind closed doors that would make him say, I've got to be better? Or was this stuff allowed?
That's a fantastic question, because it was allowed, if not like verbally in contract, through action for far too long, through training camp, through the first half of the season, because Shane Waldron, that's just not his personality to escalate the situation. I think when Caleb Williams would just walk away from his offensive coordinator that first half of the year, Waldron wouldn't really push back. That's just not, he's non-confrontational. Okay, so then you have the New England game, 19-3, total disaster. Matt Eberflus tells his staff, look, we're going to get Caleb some competition in practice. We're going to work in Beijing and get him some reps. Nobody's getting fired. What happened the very next day? Waldron is fired. And Beijing, who the players also wanted in there, by the way, veterans made it very clear they wanted the backup quarterback to get his shot. Ryan Poles, the GM, steps in, we're told, and says, absolutely not. Caleb Williams is our unambiguous starter. And Waldron's gone. And then by the time Eberflus got fired and Thomas Brown takes over as interim head coach, that's what you kind of saw, Bill, the stuff you're talking about. This is an old school, hard-nosed coach who wasn't afraid to hold anybody accountable. I mean, in team meetings, he's telling everybody, look, if the quarterback's doing something wrong, tell him. It affects your job. And he tried to kind of zap that into the Bears those final 5 weeks, but it was too late. You know, by then the season's falling apart. The Bears fired their head coach for the first time ever in the middle of the season. So, and I'm sure Caleb Williams said all the right things publicly. There were some bright moments. He looked good enough in that Detroit game for Ben Johnson to want to take the job. But this is the first time that he's had a head coach for a full off season, a full training camp, and now a full regular season, pushing him in ways he's never really been pushed before. And only Caleb Williams can answer for that. Only Caleb Williams knows if he's going to be hold himself accountable.
Ryan Poles, how much is he, if this succeeds, great. If it fails miserably, how much should he be held accountable for for not only seeing this in an interview before you bring him into your organization, but then allowing this to happen, knowing what's going on behind closed doors and everybody else around Caleb Williams is losing their job, but him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it all goes back to Ryan Poles, the general manager. I mean, he is the one that had the power. I mean, he would have drafted Caleb Williams first overall after that 2022 Heisman season if he could have. I mean, he fell in love hard. I mean, this is a former chief scout who in interviews, in so many words, kind of try to take a little credit. This is what one GM told me for the drafting of Patrick Mahomes, when who knows how much he really had there. But anyways, neither here nor there, he saw a lot of Mahomes in Caleb Williams. He wanted Caleb Williams. They get Carolina's first round pick. Carolina falls apart. And it's starting in December of 2023. Scouts are telling me that out loud, he's saying, man, the media will kill me if I don't take Caleb Williams. He was in love. There was not a serious conversation, a serious debate, a serious discussion period had about Jaden Daniels or Drake May or any of those other quarterbacks. Wow. I mean, we get into the entire quote unquote rigged draft process, as one scout put it in part 2, where, they're laughing at Drake May. I mean, they're showing his worst moments as a first impression to scouts in the room and just openly cackling, laughing and shutting the tape off. Ryan Poles says, this makes my chest hurt. So he's not a consideration. And then Jaden Daniels, I think they wanted to bring him in for a visit, but at that point, it was so insincere that Jaden Daniels' camp, someone around Jaden Daniels told me, they weren't even going to entertain it because they knew that Ryan Poles was all in on Caleb Williams. Like there was no, it blows your mind. The most consequential decision in Chicago Bears modern history, all of these quarterbacks, and you never really discuss the other guys beyond basic background work. Their flaws were picked apart and discussed in that regard, but Caleb Williams' flaws most certainly were not. I mean, the scouts in the room told me it was very groupthink. It was very group consensus. And if you weren't on that Caleb train, then you probably weren't going to last, on that personnel staff.
Interesting stuff. Now, real quick, we only got about 30 seconds, but were you able at all to talk to Ben Johnson about this?
No, I wanted to talk to the GM and the quarterback. They weren't made available by the team. That's their prerogative. That's fine. And look, we have heard. We've heard from Ben Johnson. We've heard from Ryan Poles. We've heard from Caleb Williams for months and months and months, and kind of how they believe this thing can work. I think it is important, though, to hear the other side of this all. And there is another side of this all, as we detail, even if it is a little painstaking for the Bears fans.
It's fantastic stuff. If you want to read it, Bears fans or any fan in general, go to golongtd.com. It's a 3-part series, golongtd.com, and a lot of things, a lot of red flags behind the scenes. Tyler, great stuff as always, bud. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Hey, anytime, Bill. Thanks so much for having me.
There you go. Tyler Dunn joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. Always great to get a chance to chat with him and pick his brain, but more so than anything, the expose in Chicago for what it's like behind closed doors to try to, I don't know, for lack of a better term, try to deal with Caleb Williams. That's a lot. That's a lot to handle for a guy that's a rookie who really hasn't, to be perfectly honest with you, hasn't earned it yet. Right? If you're going to sit down and watch the game coming up Thursday night, there's a great place, or Brewers games or whatever. Or if you're just going to go in for the pizza or the burgers, it is DJ's Goalpost. Appleton Avenue in Menominee Falls. It is like watching sports in a museum. They've got bobbleheads and balls, and everything's autographed. Bobbleheads, balls, bats, helmets, jerseys, you name it. Just about anything you can sign, they've signed it. There's always something there, something great, and that's DJ's Goalpost, Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls. And now, right next door, they have got a golf simulator as well. Don's kind of made it a one-stop shop for everything when it comes to the sports world. So stop out and say hi to Don, who is a great, great guy. But DJ's Goalpost right there on Appleton Avenue, great place in Menominee Falls. If you're looking for a good sports bar to go to and you're out in that area, that is the place, DJ's Goalpost. We wrap it up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The power of friendship has spawned a memorable baseball season in Milwaukee. When you choose to work with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the relationship is more than what feels like having a friend. Pella honors trust and commitment on your behalf before, during, and after the sale. They take those values to heart with every person the Pella team works with. It's natural to feel a little apprehensive about having someone visit your home, but take it from me and my wife. The brilliant Pella designers immediately put you at ease with their experience and professionalism. We love that initial visit, along with how easy they made it to envision bringing our project to life. Pella is committed to being the company everyone wants to do business with, and they've certainly lived up to that and more. And with this month's incredible deal, Gina Della from Pella is here to share why you shouldn't wait to order new windows and doors.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 60 months. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply ends 9/30/2025.
This summer, your wishes take center stage at WishFest at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Play your favorite games with your Potawatomi Rewards card all summer for over $1 million in prizes and earn entries into the WishFest prize drawings on Friday, September 26th. Your entries from July, August, and September all count. Plus, 5 lucky winners will have their ultimate wish granted. Wish big, win big. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and rewards member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Thanks to our friends at Quick Trip. They still have that big old border battle going on right now. Yeah. Whether you're Team Purple or Team Green and Gold, stop in, get yourself some Gatorade, use those quick reward points, and you could be catching the Packers and the Vikings over there at US Bank Stadium. For all the details, go to quicktrip.com/sweepstakes. Check that out. Thanks to our friends at Quick Trip. Don't forget, I'm going to be using Quick Trip when I head north. I'm going to be stopping there guaranteed, and not only filling up with some gas, but picking up some goodies along the way. So I can't wait. Heading up north. So tomorrow we'll be live in the Northwoods. We're going to be up in Tomahawk, Wisconsin. Don't forget, Thursday night we're going to be over at Castaways Bar and Grill for the Green and Gold postgame show after the Packers and the Commanders finish their deal. So come on by and say hello. I can't wait. Can't wait to get there. I got the fishing poles ready to go. And I've got the tackle box ready to go. I've got a speaker with me. I'm just going to kick back, relax, and enjoy myself. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. Anything we missed today, Grant, before we get out of here?
Nothing crazy. I think we covered just about everything.
There you have it.
Good to have Tyler. What timing after last night?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Gosh, yeah. That is fantastic stuff. All right, time for us to go. We'll talk again 20 hours from now. I will be